the faraway land of ancient Greece, there was a golden age of powerful gods and extraordinary heroes. And the greatest and strongest of all these heroes was the mighty Hercules. But what is the measure of a true hero? Now, that is what our story is
about.
about.
Listen to him? He's making this story sound like some Greek tragedy.
Lighten up, dude.
We'll take it from here, darling.
You go, girl.
We are the muses, goddesses of the arts, and proclaimers of heroes.
Heroes like Hercules.
Honey, you mean Huncules. Woo-hoo, I'd like to make some sweet music
Our
with his...
story actually begins long before Hercules, many eons ago. Back when the world was new, the planet Earth was down on its luck. And everywhere gigantic brutes called titans ran amok.
It was a nasty place. There was a mess wherever you stepped.
Where chaos reigned and earthquakes and volcanoes never slept.
Woo! Say it, girlfriend!
And then along came Zeus. He hurled his thunderbolt. He's out,
Lock those suckers in our bones.
they're trapped. And on his own stops chaos in its tracks. And that's the gospel. The time was too tight, to just relax.
And that's the world's first dish.
Yeah, baby.
Zeus tamed the globe while still in his youth.
Though honey, it may seem impossible, that's the gospel truth. On Mount Olympus, life was peace and smooth and sweet, smooth. Although honey, it may seem impossible, that's the gospel
Way! Hello everyone and welcome to the Nostalgia Hour with Soul, they call me Soul because I rise above, and my guest this evening, battling in that corner over there, in that sofa in the corner, it is the Battle Hamster!
Hello.
Hey, I haven't got the applause chat, but hopefully everyone was clapping at home. Welcome in, everyone, welcome in, and thank you very much, Battle Hamster, for joining me this evening. I hope you're well. How are you?
I'm doing good and very glad to be here.
Yes, because you are in a room of your very own making right now.
Definitely.
yes. This is we have delved in to the Battle Hamster's mind and projected it outwards. Not all of the dark and twisted things, don't worry. Just the nice, cosy stuff that makes you feel a certain way. A certain nostalgic way. Yes, and I thank you very much for allowing me into your mind and your memory tonight. And thank you all for joining us here tonight. Pandarai, Streaksy, Meatloaf, Galaxy, Naomi Dreams, Shiny Banani. I hope I haven't missed anyone out there. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for that resub, my word, a tier 3. My word, bloody hell. Thank you very much for committing to that, my word, thank you. And it's nice to have you all here joining us on this wonderful Sunday evening and for a nice, cosy chat. Hamster! What does what does nostalgia mean to you?
Oh, so to me, nostalgia is that kind of warm feeling you get when you remember something of your past. You know, something that you can either go back to again and again, and you just get memories of when you were young, when you were doing this.
Now you say when you were young. Do you mean younger? Are you able to formulate nostalgia after a certain age, or have you found that all of your nostalgia is dictated by one period of your life?
I don't think my nostalgia is necessarily dictated by one period of my life. I think like there's a certain point where something becomes nostalgic. Maybe like after a certain time, not necessarily a specific set of years, but like enough time that you will always look back on it fondly, or something that if you think about, your childhood, these are the things you'll think about.
Right. And they do tend to be quite warm feelings. They usually, it's a longing for a day gone by, so there can't be some melancholic emotions to it. Have you ever found yourself getting nostalgic to the point of emotional, outwardly?
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah. Especially with one of the things we'll be talking about tonight. Definitely, there's a lot of emotion wrapped up in there as well.
Is it the one that strikes home the most when it comes to other people?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Okay. So you think when we tie nostalgia with people, it's the combination of because there's got to be a difference between just memories and nostalgia, right? Do you think that there is a greater thing with nostalgia that can't quite be, I don't know, articulated as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think nostalgia is more memory with emotion.
More memory with emotion. I like that.
So,
But, yeah.
memory can be quite clinical. It can be like, oh, this happened in the past, or I remember this fact.
Yes.
Whilst nostalgia is intrinsically emotional in some way. Usually positive, mostly positive.
Yeah, most of the time. Is there one thing that will always make you nostalgic? Is it one of the things we're going to talk about tonight? You don't have to. If it is, that's fine. But is there
Yes.
like one? Okay, it's one of the things tonight. Okay, brilliant.
Yes,
for me,
very much so.
For me, and it never fails. It's the Tomb Raider 1 theme tune. The Tomb Raider 1 theme tune gets me every time. I love the PS1 era. It was such a young and innocent time of my life. Carefree. And like the revolution of going from a Sega Mega Drive to these cinematic storytelling with these... Yeah, it was so vast for me. And I was just swept up in that period. The late 90s for me is just... amazing. Amazing. I mean, it was crap, but amazing at the same time. I've never so much like toxic masculinity in the late 90s as well. Like lad culture was massive in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I still long for the idea, like sneaking into my brother's room to have a look at his jazz mags. So, but they wouldn't be there if there weren't that loud culture. Or looking for his VHS tapes of all the 18 certificates, like The Godfather sitting on the shelf, Goodfellas, Private Parts. No one remembers that, surely. Same in late 90s is peak nostalgia for me. Well, mate, a lot of you guys, some of you are older, some of you are younger in chat. I'd be interested to know what your peak years of nostalgia are. But right here in this show, if anyone knows what this show is, this is the Nostalgia Hour. It's actually about 90 minutes, but come on, bear with us. It just works well as a title. We bring a guest on, in this case Battle Hamster, who has created a room of nostalgia, and they're going to talk us through it bit by bit. And let's see what you remember about these certain things and what you can connect with. And maybe they'll bring back a little bit of nostalgia for you. We have the projector here tonight that's going to help us and assist with some visual identifiers. But a lot of people... Now, I wish I could do smell-o-vision. Actually, I don't know if I do, actually. Hold on a minute. But a lot of people get their nostalgia triggered by smell. Are you one of those people?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No?
I think for me, it's very auditory for me.
Okay, interesting.
Certain sounds.
Some sounds. I do think it's a very much a sensual feeling. Like, you can't just feel nostalgic, like, generally. Like, you can't just, I've just been hit with a spout of nostalgia. I think something always does trigger nostalgia, whether that's visual, audible, or a smell. I wonder if you could feel nostalgia. I just realised I did that motion, and we have someone called Nostalgia in the community, so let's draw that back there. 2005 to 2014. 2014 seems very recent. That's not even 10 years ago. But then I don't know whether... Does nostalgia scale? That's an interesting thing. Because there is this thing that apparently as you grow older, your memory will seem... it'll seem like time passes slower when you're younger compared to when you're older. For example, when you're 10 years old and you think back to when you were 5, that was half your life at that point. So it feels like so much has happened in such a quantifiable amount of time compared to when you're 30 thinking about 15 years. It seems to have gone quicker, and then that scales. And I wonder if that's linked to nostalgia as well. We are going to say my nostalgic years. Oh, Charlie. We're all friends here. It's fine. I mean, you do talk a lot about your love for 80s music, Charlie. Does that bring you nostalgia, perhaps? I know Naomi's with me in the late 90s. She loved the Lads mags as well. There's something more than listening to Oasis and Spice Girls blaring out of every household. Except at Christmas, where it's the same songs they show now.
Yeah, that's not changed.
Yeah, that never bloody changed. But nostalgia to you. Okay, so it's definitely more a audible thing for you. But there must have been a moment in your life that I think you've already hinted at it being the most personal to you, that brings you maybe the most nostalgia. And I see a little thing in the corner of the room there, over there in the far corner, that might allude to this. Tell us a little bit about your most nostalgic moment.
Yeah, so my most nostalgic moment is it's one of those things where it's so nostalgic I can't remember like the details. I can't remember what day it was, when it was, or even what the match was about. So it was a cricket match.
A cricket? Cricket? Any cricket fans in the audience here? Oh, it's sport, so you know, edging my bets there, aren't I? But no, go ahead.
Twisting on a 19 with that one. It's like the key thing about understanding cricket is when you go to watch a cricket game, you are not going to watch a cricket game like you're going to watch a football match, where it's edge of your seat. You know, oh, will he get it? Will he pass it on? You know, what's going to happen? No, that's not how live cricket works. Right. Live cricket works by you go to the arena, you find a nice comfy seat, and you drink copious amounts of alcohol.
Right. Chatting
absolute bollocks.
I've started to understand why you can't remember the details.
Until something interesting happens, and then you pay attention to the game. Like someone's scoring a 4 or a 6, or someone's absolutely pelted it out, and now they're getting a ton of runs.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of desultory conversation about like, of you know, he's done well. If you can remember the stats, like some people who are absolute maniacs and know how many runs this person's got in the last 5 games, but that's not how I watch cricket.
Right. Okay.
Like they'll know who's done what. Yeah, it's not really me.
Okay, interesting. So
but this cricket game,
the atmosphere that the event creates, really. I think you've signed Meatloaf up. And hello, Damasan, welcome in, my friend. Sounds like a game waiting to go. So I think you may have got a cricket partner here. No, please tell us about this specific moment.
Yeah, it was a test match, and both of my grandparents had decided to take me and my dad out. So it was this really nice, nice opportunity where it was me and my dad and my 2 granddads, and it was probably the last time I was ever able to do that, because soon after my granddad died from cancer.
I'm sorry about that.
So yeah, and the only thing I know about this is it was before university, because my granddad died before I went to university. So that's kind of, I don't even know when this game was, but I had this absolute nostalgic, beautiful moment of just being with my family watching the game, and then I went off to go eat some. I went to get some lunch. I went to a pop-up noodle van.
I was going to say noodles. I was going to say strawberries, but that's tennis, isn't it?
That's tennis. That's because it's in the spring or summer.
It's true.
I went to get these noodles, and I got some chopsticks, and I just remember sitting down to eat these noodles, and my granddad on my father's side were like, "Oh, why didn't you get a fork? You can't use chopsticks." I was like, "Yes, I can." And I had these noodles with chopsticks.
Hey!
And my granddad on my mum's side is laughing so much because he taught me how to use chopsticks.
Oh, did you really? The irony.
not only is he well aware that I know how to use chopsticks, he's the reason I know how to use chopsticks.
Were they impressed? Do you remember if they were impressed or not?
Oh, my granddad was just like, "Oh," like some arcane magic I just done because he did not understand how anyone could eat chopsticks. My granddad is just laughing.
I only learned how to use chopsticks this year, actually, which is ironic considering it's like maximum hand pain. Like,
Yeah,
but
I feel like
regardless, that I've learned this year. It's very strange. But yeah, no, that's wonderful. I love that. It's weird that my earliest memory is also at a sporting event. I'm a pro wrestling fan, but it's also with my family as well, because I was like 2 years old. I was a couple of weeks away from being free, and I was taken to a wrestling event, and Bret Hart came. I remember the head shrinkers coming down the aisle. Yeah, it was 90s era. They were very very stereotypical. But Bret Hart, everyone knows Bret Hart, the pink and black fella. And he came over to me right after he won his match against Ric Flair, and he came over and he shook my little hand as I was being held up. And I remember those moments very distinctly. And I looked up the date, because these are all recorded, and it was about 3 weeks before I was born. I had the full list there, and I was like, oh my God, I found it after all these years. It turns out that I may actually have an earlier memory from when I was earlier in my 2-year status, from when I went to W.H. Smith to meet the British Bulldog. I have the signed video of him signing the video. Like, I've still got the evidence of that meet and greet. But I was trying to work out, he was gone by the end of 92, so it couldn't have happened after. It would have been before, like, promoting the tour. So actually that would have been
yeah.
But the fact is, I was with my brother and my father, so I think you're right when it comes to that personal link with family, if you have a positive upbringing, I would say, that you would have such a strong bond or moment there that would probably supersede any sort of media that you might encounter.
Yeah.
But I also think the media does sort of act as a trigger in of itself, because I feel like you might be reminded about some of the things you're about to bring up this evening, but it can also trigger a memory or a sense of feeling that came from the time where you were in your life when you're watching that. So the people that were around you, or the people you've watched that with or experienced it with. So I do think that regardless, everything sort of has that weave of personal connection to it. But I love the fact that it's those moments that can't be they can't really be shared, can they, in a way?
No, yeah.
It's not like you can say, oh, do you remember that time I went to the cricket with my dad and we were like, no, mate, I weren't there. I met you about a week ago. But I do remember what's on the TV over there, So that's an interesting thing that we can sort of share nostalgia in a way, or at least share the triggers of nostalgia. But it's the personal moments that will stick with us and make them more personal. I was always more of a Shawn Michaels fan, girl. One of them, I know what Lads Mag you were buying. Different kind of lad. Shawn Michaels did actually pose in Playboy, I think. Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, so there you go. Naomi's rushing off to find that. I've still got the copy. No. So, speaking of those wonderful play girl. What did I say? Playboy is the actual. No, Playboy is the one that has naked ladies, isn't it? Play girl. Is it? Wait, you knew. Naomi knew. You corrected me. You already knew. I'm not wrong. No. But yes, I think that harking back to when we were very young, as you say, how old were you? You said before university, so you were maybe around a teenager there?
Yeah, I would probably hazard a guess to say I was about maybe 14, 15.
14, okay. I think around then is where I think nostalgia sort of maybe crescendos a bit. I think when you get into higher education, I think work, maybe if you're getting a car, maybe if you're moving out, maybe if you're going into higher education, it's very stressful. I think there's a lot of life going on there that can be quite a stressful thing to experience that might not give you enough time for that kind of a pleasure to have so much time to create a nostalgic feeling. I still think you could probably get nostalgia for weird stuff. For example, new car smell. Right?
Ooh.
A lot of people talk about new car smell being amazing, and they long for it. That, and again, it goes back to that smell thing, because I think it reminds them of when they first got their first car, or was in a car for the first time, or they had their family's first car. But you can never pinpoint it down to an exact memory. It's a trigger of a memory of a smell, which is so odd. It's like when you say, "Oh, I remember this reminds me of my auntie's cooking," for example. It doesn't necessarily always remind you of a specific moment, but it can remind you of just a specific scent, or if you don't get that, you don't get that with hearing or visual. I mean, I suppose you do when you have a memory, you can project that memory, but not so much. You can't like just manifest the sound to again hear. Can I start over? No, we're just getting started, Trixie. Don't you worry. So, speaking of being young and youthful,
yes,
there is a reason we haven't got legs, by the way, because if we did, we'd probably be going ow, ooh, ow, because of all the stuff on the floor. And I want to take us all back now to the classic days of TV commercials for those wonderful little blocks that build dreams. Let's take a look at this.
We were Lego pirates looking for some pillage. So we figured we'd take off to an unsuspecting village. But just as we thought that their goal was in reach, the Imperial Armada pulled right up to the beach. We toppled their mast, they rammed our hull, they even knocked out the teeth from our skull. They won the battle, they had their fun, but I found me mateys, this story's not done. Legomania! Imperial Armada, new sets to collect from Lego System, each set sold separately.
Oh, that's so good. I think there's more.
Wanna go to Paradisa Beach? Sure. Come on, let's try our luck. Number 10, we won a radio. Logo change. I'm ready. This is fun.
My magic trick.
Ice cream. Hey, my radio.
Paradisa, Paradisa, this is where we have fun.
I love the stop.
The new Paradisa sets from Lego System.
Imagine that was the Lego movie right there.
Oh wow.
Come on, let's try our
Is that the
luck.
same one?
Number 10.
See what else we got here. I didn't realise they were going to be international. But that's so cool. I don't think did they actually fire cannonballs?
No, it never did.
I
It
didn't
wasn't
think they did
until
that.
like 2015 or something.
2015? Oh,
It
wow.
started with it's to start with a little like stud launchers they invented.
Paradisa, Paradisa, sun is shining all day. Let us ride down to the beach, 'cause every
I love the jingles. They really went all out on the jingles, didn't they?
house in the sun. Paradisa, Paradisa, this is where we have fun.
I really wanted to show these specifically because they remind me of the time when Lego wasn't just all licensed stuff.
Yes.
Now I don't mind the fact that they're licensed stuff, but they had to make some very bare basic products, and Lego was really it wasn't doing well in the 90s apparently. It went into a dive. But they were really trying hard to innovate on what was essentially trying to weave their way through copyright material.
Yeah.
You know, to give a product that could still be sellable. So I love the fact these adverts are great. I think what's that one? I got a Lego Space one from 1994. I think I'm going to show this one as well, just because I like the variety of it. Let's let me get that up
The
here.
Unitrons are preparing for a secret mission. The Spirius agent calls in his robots.
I remember these.
I remember these as
You remember
well.
these as
Yeah.
well?
I remember the advert and the sets.
Oh wow, you remember the advert as well? Yes, yes, the transformation. Yeah.
Okay, robots, take him. No, not me, you big clumsy monster.
Spirius?
Ah, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. So Lego Battle Hamster, Lego.
Yes.
That is the toy that takes you back. What is your history with the Lego people?
Oh, so I probably started playing with Lego. Maybe 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So
5?
very, very young.
Very young.
My parents loved it because they could just set me in front of a huge pile of Lego bricks and I would be entertained for hours.
I'm intrigued because, for people who don't know, you are an archaeologist, aren't you?
I am an archaeologist,
He's
yes.
an archaeologist, yes. And a very, very, very wonderful historian. I like to always refer to you as, yes, very much so. And I wonder if, that's what you're perfect for the show, but I wonder if you maybe got another toy of yours, maybe a decapitated Barbie. I imagine you're the sort of person to have them. And maybe you would put it on the floor, and then you get loads of Lego bricks, maybe bury it, right? Come back in a week with a little spade, dig it up.
I can't say I ever did that, but I absolutely did ferret through piles and unearth the one brick I needed.
I remember doing that. I remember getting this. I remember Christmas. I got this massive guitar-shaped bag of miscellaneous Lego. Yeah, I don't know why it was in the shape of a guitar, but it was just a massive bag that was zipped up. You could see through, but it's just miscellaneous Lego. And I just remember putting it on the pile and just digging through to get the block you want. Got the thumbs. It hurt my thumbs trying to get 2 blocks apart. Oh, yeah. I hated that because they're sharp. Lego is sharp. Do you guys know how sharp Lego is? So if you've got 2 pieces, right, and you're snapping them apart like that, when you do that, your thumb goes inwards, and then the edges will dig in slightly. Yeah. You get it in a corner. Oh, so imagine treading on it. Did you tread on Lego?
I was very lucky. I didn't tread on Lego at my young age. I think mainly because I would just be on my hands and knees ferreting around the piles.
I love that. I love the maybe this is where you got your hamster motif from.
Probably. It was the start. It was the start.
Are there any? I mean, we saw a few there. Any of those? You said the space one, maybe the pirates or the. Well, I doubt the Shire, but I don't know. Do you remember some of the sets you had when you were 5, when you were a kid?
I remember. So we go back to talking in the 90s, talking about the issue with Lego trying to go around licensing.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of started to save Lego in the 90s was when they licensed with Star Wars, and we had the first Star Wars sets.
That was the first big one, wasn't it?
That was the first big one. It was the first license, and they started producing. I believe the first one they ever did was an A-wing or something like that from Last Jedi. I think mainly because it was probably the most easiest to put together. From what they already had.
Right.
And I remember kind of my first real Lego set, Star Wars Lego set, was the Speeder from A New Hope.
Okay. Yeah.
Luke's, and it was called Luke's Speeder.
Luke's Speeder.
Luke's Speeder.
Luke's Speeder. I don't know what Speedo. That was
Speeder.
Yeah.
Speeder.
I like the idea of the first Lego set is Beach Luke Skywalker.
Well, Lego inspired the Beach Stormtroopers.
Oh, there you go. That's very true. There you go.
But yeah, and I got it, and I remember, and it was absolutely made up with it, and it entertained me for hours. And I just started accruing mainly Star Wars Lego.
Interesting. Yes.
I remember I got there was the Hoth Speeder and the Naboo N1 Starfighter.
Wow.
Because when I was growing up as well...
Were these quite big, by the way, or were they sort of medium-sized?
They were medium-sized.
So,
my parents never had a lot of money.
You know.
Yeah, my parents never had lots of money, so it was always kind of the middling sets.
They were very expensive. Lego still just
Lego. It's always people say, "Oh, Lego's jumped up price." It really hasn't.
No, it's always been very consistent.
If anything, it's tracked with inflation.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it has been very consistent. I always remember being younger. Unless you got miscellaneous stuff, on offer. It was either you paid the expense or you got Duplo, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Did you know Lego, Duplo, and Quadro? There's another one. They all actually fit together.
Yeah, they do.
I didn't know that. That's so crazy that they were designed.
I think it's like it has to be certain. I don't think any Duplo block will fit inside Lego, but if you build the right sphere of Lego, it will fit in.
The right proportions, it will slot and build.
There's like a specific way of building each one that'll actually fit into like a tower.
Knowing Hamster, he'd be more likely to recreate all ancient Greece in under an hour. I would love to see the Hamster Greece Lego collection.
God.
Would it have the Elgin marbles? That's what I want to.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it would.
But it would specifically be in the temple, not in the British Museum.
Yes, well done. I might buy myself some Lego right goddamn now. Well, actually, you've inspired me, Hamster. Because I told Hamster before the show began that I now have 90 unique streams and shows that I will be putting on going forward. And one of them is called Lego of Me. and I will attempt, I will, if I decide to do the show, I will buy and build a Lego set live on stream for forevermore. Oh yes, I'm going to try and find the most unique and weirdest Lego I can get and build it. It begs to you, bringing me back to Lego. Because I haven't touched Lego in such a long time. Like, I've played the Lego games, but actually physical Lego, the last time I remember that was around 2002, when my brother-in-law revealed that he had this whole Robin Hood. It wasn't like licensed Robin Hood. It wasn't like based off a
there was the medieval. There was a whole medieval thing they did.
Whole medieval thing. There was a lot of Robin Hood characters and like Sherwood Forest kind of sets and stuff like that. Is it Sherwood Forest?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, oh my god, you've got all this Lego. And I remember building it and having so much fun with it. But that was it. I've never touched Lego since, and I think it was just because of the crazy expense. I feel like while they are expensive, I also think they've got a reputation that precedes them to the point where buying one of these can seem quite intimidating because they're known for being expensive, regardless of if there is actually a cheap like copy on the market. I want the Lego Titanic. Have they genuinely made the Lego Titanic?
Yeah, it's part of their. Because they've done a thing recently where they've been making historical things. Like they've done the Colosseum. They've done.
Wow, that would be amazing.
I think it was Hagia Sophia, and they've done the Titanic as well. They do these kind of big landmark. I think they're called Lego Creator sets.
Okay, interesting.
So they, every time they bring one out, I want to buy one, but I can never afford them.
No, I guess not. No, because they're again. I'm assuming they're quite expensive because I feel like they're probably marketed less towards the young demographic of the market and more towards the people who've been with them for years that might be intrigued by that kind of thing. And that's something that I really prefer more. So, because obviously as a kid, you want to play with Lego, you want to mix and match and have little adventures. But as an adult, you kind of want an epic backdrop of a set piece. You know, you want to get a dedicated table full of a city. You know, that's what you want, right? Even if no one ever touched it, it just collects dust. It's there. Come in, and see my Lego city. I think that's it's so cool because you build it as well. There's something very intimate about Lego as well, that you don't just get a toy and stick it on a shelf. You put the effort into building that.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, I don't know if you stayed connected with Lego through the years, or is it something for you that's also just from the past?
I've left a lot of it at home, but this is my most recent acquisition, which is
acquisitions. Look at that.
Yep. Which was a lovely birthday present from my dear Naomi Dreams.
Naomi Dreams. Oh, Naomi. Buying Lego for a hamster. Well, you know, she's earning a few bob. Yeah, so... Because the evidence is there, surely.
Yeah. It's like, for me, it is a very big link to my nostalgia past. And even today, when I pick up a Lego set, there is a little part of me, the little kid inside of me, which is like, oh, I remember on this birthday when I got this Lego set, or I remember when I got this Lego set. That's and it's so just cool. Like, I sat down and because I'm very meticulous of my Lego after so long of doing stuff. It's like I kind of set my bits out, and I'm just whilst I'm making this Ferrari, there's a part of me which is remembering like when I was, I think, 12, and Star Wars. I don't actually know where I was older. Sorry, because I know that the third Star Wars film, Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith, had just come out.
So that's 2004, 5?
2005, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, and it just come out, and they'd released the Arc 180, Arc 170 fighter, which is the fighter that you see in the first shots of the third film during the Battle of Coruscant, and it's the kind of, you can very clearly see they're invoking the X-wing by the kind of foil that pops up.
So was this a combination of Lego and Star Wars coming together, or did one actually dictate the interest in the other?
I think I have always Lego itself. So Lego itself is always something that's very, very I love doing. Like it for me, it scratches an itch that only one other thing manages to scratch, which is Minecraft.
Ah, interesting.
And I think it is absolutely the ADHD bunny in me, just really happy that I am creating something in a format where I do not have to hyper-focus or panic. When you have ADHD, when you have ADHD, there is a big sense of panic that you have when you begin a project.
Okay.
Where you're like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
I don't know what to do. I know I need to do X, Y, and Z.
You know all the aspects, but
where do I start? But with Lego, you don't have that because you open the booklet and it says step 1.
Yeah. So it's very therapeutic in a way to get yourself into that sort of chilled mindset to build. When you built that car, as soon as it was done, you went, did you go?
Absolutely.
Yay! The child still is.
And I have done ever since I was 5.
Brilliant. We have to put theft protection on the Lego sets at work. Yeah, no, we used to do the same. We had security stickers, and then for the more higher priced stuff, we would wrap them in spider tags. Yeah, they never bloody stand up when you do that. It's something like 4 foot long, also very expensive. 4 foot long Titanic, oh blimey. I'll be buying more for Christmas too. Oh, you asked, did you really? Do you know what one specifically you have your eye on? Or you don't know? You don't want to spoil it?
I'll find out.
I'll find out.
I know she took me into Lego, was like, what would you like? And I was like, well, I'll point the ones I would like, but not I know I'm never going to get. And then I'll point to the ones that I'd quite like, but
I've just
get.
Great moment, Naomi, and you feel free to steal this. You hand him a box, very small. He opens it up, and inside is a pair of scissors with a ribbon on it. So follow me. And she takes you outside, out of the house, right? On the front porch is the giant box with a ribbon on it for the Titanic.
Oh,
life-size recreation model in 3 million. No, that might be a bit underestimating it.
I'd say life-size. That's underestimated.
About 3 billion pieces. And here is your second present, and it's a key. And then you follow me, and you go round the corner, and there's a giant crane to help you. The pieces in, right? How much money do you think I have? So I don't know, but you are buying Lego, so you're probably rolling in it, like Hamster was when he was a kid through the Lego.
Absolutely. I had a huge, many liters, 100 or so liter box of Lego.
Oh, wow.
And to this day, my mum says, true horror is when you're in the other room and you just hear the crash of the Lego box being emptied onto the floor.
Yes.
Yeah, it was this one kid's like, shh.
Yep.
And she says it's like the worst sound you can ever hear is when you're in the kitchen and from the living room you just hear, because that's your living room gone for the next 5 hours.
Speaking of the kitchen, I want to divert your attention to the big screen, if you'd be so kind. This is weird. There's adverts playing on ads. How does that work?
You woke up, the sun was shining, and you thought, today's a special kind of day. So you took the kids to the zoo. And then, what about something special for supper? Something as special as lasagna. Layers of pasta, minced beef, and a tasty cheese sauce.
Give them something special for tonight. Give them something they are bound to like.
Findus also do something special with chicken espagnole, rigatoni, beef or chicken curry. Delicious.
Give them something different when it's something special, 'cause it's got the Findus away.
New from Findus. Something special for everyone.
Something special for everyone. I feel special today, says Strixie. Must take the kids to the zoo and get some lasagna. Look at that slop. Brits do not know any better. I mean, but look at that. I gotta say, when they pulled the lasagna out that oven, oh, didn't that look good? No,
I was mildly horrified.
Were you really? Oh, I've got more to then haunt us with. Take a look at that. Was from the 70s.
Billy changes his mind as often as his socks.
Great, man.
So in anticipation of these little foibles, I keep his favourite Findus lasagna in reserve. What effect this foresightedness might have on him this time, I've no idea.
Ciao, Mama. Make a meal of it with Findus lasagna.
I hear he's just a regular guy, and he ends up becoming an Italian mob boss at the end. So just because he ate lasagna.
Don't touch lasagna.
Well, one more from them.
Well,
God,
today we have lasagna with layers of superb pasta, and between each layer is the rich sauce of prime beef, tomatoes, onions, and herbs, topped with melted barbling cheese.
Please.
Findus lasagna, one of 4 deliciously saucy Italian meals from the Findus freezer.
Findus, goodness in your hands.
Won't you join me?
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, he was just being racist. Oh, that's all right then. So lasagna. Hamster, you have chosen. I've done it. Well, I've stuck it in the fridge, but lasagna. You've said lasagna brings you nostalgia. Is it Lego lasagna?
Does.
Is it Lego lasagna?
No, it's normal lasagna.
Talk us through why you have chosen lasagna.
So I grew up in a family of cooks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's very interesting.
My granddad, who I mentioned, who's one who recently he's passed away before I went to university. He was a cook. He was a cook for 30 odd years.
Ooh.
He taught my mum how to cook.
Ah.
My mum went to catering college. She didn't actually end up becoming a professional cook because she, did a transitionary job before going into kitchens, where she worked at Four Fars, where she found out she was actually allergic to freshly baked bread.
Oh, right. That common
So the smell of freshly baked bread would, the flour they use or something would give her really bad kind of headaches and migraines.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. Oh,
but she trained to be a professional cook, and she continued to, pursue cooking, and then she taught me how to cook.
Ah! Oh, so you cook? You cook at home, do you?
Oh, very much so.
Oh.
I am a family cook.
Then I must just pause and ask Naomi, if you need help, right? If you need help, if he's not that good, right? You can be honest here, safe. We can get you out of there, right? Or I can send you some meals. You just let me know, Naomi, okay? Now, so you're one lucky lady, Sasha. We'll wait for the verdict to come in. No, coming from a family of cooks, that must be okay. So you thought food has been quite prominent in your life, then. Yeah,
So food has very prominent in my life. Cooking has always been a family bonding thing.
Oh no!
It's I'd always joke that I wouldn't help in the kitchen. I'd be the commie chef.
Oh, right.
A commie chef is an assistant to a line chef.
Right. Okay. And what's a sous chef?
A sous chef is basically a overseer of chefs.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
So the sous chef is to make sure that the kitchen is running.
It's not just a chef called Sue.
No.
And it's not a lawyer that's also a part-time chef.
No. And it's not and it isn't the soup chef. I made that mistake once and got
Oh no! Did you really? Oh no!
for years.
Oh, really? Well, did you have like gazpacho soup? I'm like, can you bring me the soup, chef? This is cold.
No, I knew that mistake from very young, but that's a different story.
Oh, really?
I'll get to that later.
Right. Okay. He's an amazing cook, says Naomi. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, I will come for dinner. Thank you, Naomi. Yes.
But lasagna happened because I inherited my humour from my granddad and my mum, and we loved Garfield.
Oh,
both the comic strips and the animated series and the films. And one day, my sister was like, I want to try some lasagna. And I was like, okay, I'll cook lasagna. And we had it, and I absolutely loved it. And it became one of my favourite meals, and it is pretty much like the homely meal, to the point where when I went to university, I would come back for dinner, and the first meal my mum would cook for me would be lasagna.
Oh, wow, okay. So
it is very much the feeling of home.
The feeling of being home. A lot of people get, like I mentioned earlier, how like someone's cooking can remind you of certain times or memories in your life. But specifically, it's lasagna for you that will take you back there. So why were you horrified at seeing the adverts there?
And this is why I brought up I started this conversation about being in a family of cooks.
Right.
Because I knew we'd get to this. as soon as I winced when I saw that reheated lasagna. So I struggle, even though lasagna is by easily one of my most favorite foods, and is probably the food I can eat like the most of consecutively without being like, oh, I want to get someone else. I struggle very, very hard to actually eat lasagna at a restaurant.
Oh.
The only time I've ordered lasagna and felt good about it and enjoyed it properly was actually in Italy. I went to Rome.
Oh. They must do it very good there.
And it's done very properly. And it was that was very nice. But coming from a family of cooks, when my mum cooks lasagna, it wasn't like, oh, we'll just get like or we'll use a British recipe. Like, the recipe we used was specifically from my mum's catering college textbook.
Ah, I see.
And she would always give me because when I was cooking, she'd always give me little hints, little training tips. And one of the things she always taught me, which has stuck with me my entire life, and one of the things my granddad taught me as well, is if you can't find... if you can find a recipe that you have to translate from its original language, then that's the recipe you should use.
Okay. What's the logic behind that one?
Because the logic is, a lot of recipes, when they are brought over to Blighty, are modified to suit British sensibilities.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right.
A curry should not have raisins and swede.
Yeah. Right, okay.
And yet, in many British cookbooks from, I believe, the early 2000s, because there was a British drive, there was a British kind of, I guess you could call it like Vogue. Like, this one point in like the early 90s, early 2000s, where the thing to do was to add as much... The trend was to add as much fruit and vegetables into whatever you were cooking.
Right.
And that's in some really weird ways. Like, if you go to a burrito store in the UK, that isn't like, first generation Mexican cuisine, like, a modern one, with British people running it. They will ask you to put like lettuce and tomato and cucumber and all this stuff into a burrito. If you go to Mexico and you ask for a burrito, and then you ask, can I have lettuce in, they will go, what?
Oh wow! So yeah, because I suppose cultures just sort of adapt what comes in.
Yeah.
That was very good. Did you hear he announced those words correctly? He said Mexico, like that. That was very good.
I mean, it probably wasn't perfect because I don't speak Spanish.
It did so naturally there. I'm called Soul. I mean, can't speak the lingo. Big Potato's joined us. Shoves the part about hearing the Lego crash from the other room. Oh, I'm glad. And I can't remember my first Lego set, but the coloured transparent Legos are nostalgic for me. Oh, interesting. Transparent ones. I'm trying to remember what sets I had. Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. The only ever had lasagna that I made. I've only ever made lasagna. Right, so my sister used to make me lasagna when I used to go visit her. And I loved it, even if it wasn't just like home baked. It was like from some store.
Yeah.
But for some reason, every time I've made my own lasagna that I've just bought from the store, yeah, they're probably going to be crap because they're not made fresh. But it was never as good as when I had it at my sister's. Like, it's the same bloody thing. How is it possible to have? Unfortunately, I've lost my interest in lasagna because every lasagna I've had in the last 20 years has been shite because I've cooked it. And it's come from some store. I've tried all the different ones, and they're all crap. And I'm like, oh, this tastes of paper. Oh, this has got nothing to it. I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what the best lasagna I had was the chicken lasagna that was in Tesco's, right? Now, it probably wasn't, again, like fresh and great, but it was the best one I've ever had since. But then when the horse meat scandal happened, it disappeared. Now, I don't know if that was bad timing or not, but it was chicken. It weren't beef. How the hell you made a mistake? So I'm putting that down to happenstance, but never seen it again. No. Yeah.
There was a huge thing about them basically pulling a lot of things off the shelves and then trickling them back in. So, lasagna for me is always that taste of home, and it's specifically my mum's lasagna and my granddad's lasagna. And I will actually I've been frustrated because I've tried to cook lasagna, and I've made this lasagna, and I've sat down to eat the lasagna. I'm just like, it's not right.
Oh no,
it's not right.
So that must be infuriating. So have you ever made a great lasagna in your mind? Like, have you been able to? Oh, you have. You have.
It was the 4th year of university, so this was the 4th year of me living on my own and truly cooking for myself, as in cooking meals every day for myself, not just like the occasional one where I'd cook once or twice a week.
Right. This is
and it took me. I tried to make lasagna in first year. I tried to make lasagna in second year and third year, and it wasn't until like the second semester, midway through the second semester of 4th year, I cracked it.
Nice.
And it was annoying. It was annoying as I had to buy cheaper tomatoes.
Oh, right. Oh, weird. Okay, so have you got it down now? If you could make lasagna, it's going to be good, right?
Yeah, right, if I can make lasagna, it's going to be good.
Guys, I'll report back once I've had the lasagna, because clearly I've been invited to dinner. I'm going to have lasagna. There you go. You see, I only asked him to come on the show so I could get an invite. It's getting real now. Hamster breaking out the dialects. Oh yeah, very much so. Thanks for planning. Thanks to this planning on making some lasagna for just some. Oh, there you go. I see you're influencing people. I've got a Lego show now. We're going to have dinner. Everyone's having a lasagna. Can't wait to have some mood changing lasagna. Well, that's interesting. I hope it's a good mood. Stickle bricks. What the hell's stickle bricks? What are you bringing that up for? What's that? Stickle bricks. Do you know what that is? Strixie, we going on about stickle bricks. Yeah. So lasagna, I do like a lasagna, but unfortunately it's been taken. I haven't had one in a restaurant, so if I'm in an Italian restaurant, I always go for the pizza, because I'm a connoisseur of the pizza. Or as they say in Italy, pie. So, they do. Pizza means pie in Italy.
Oh.
Didn't you know that?
Lego? I did not know that. Is that why it's called in like New York? It's called a pizza pie.
Yeah, exactly. It's pie.
Pie.
Stickle bricks were a
like
Lego.
chai tea.
Oh, they were stickle bricks. Right. Okay. I think you were talking about some kind of weird lasagna brand. Stickle bricks. I wouldn't buy lasagna from it. Nostalgia sauce. Oh, interesting. Oh, so were they a bit like Duplo with that kind of like, or what was that, Playmobil? Wasn't it? Playmobil was another one. That had like kind of detachable parts and pieces. Oh, interesting. Stickle bricks. I have to look into that. I'll probably know it to see it. So we've had our fill and we're eating it too. But right now, I want to divert everyone's attention to the screen, because what you do when you've had your dinner, you've got your lasagna, you sit down with the family, maybe, or maybe on your lonesome, and you watch some great television, don't you? But for Hamster, the television he loved was a little bit funny, eh? So let's take a look at the classic that is Father Ted.
Oh, wait till I tell you, Ted. Funland's coming to Craggy Island. It'll be here Saturday.
Oh, yes, this is the fairground thing. I wouldn't have much interest in that type of thing myself, to be honest.
They've got a spider baby.
A what?
A spider baby. You know, it's kind of a freak show thing, you know. It's got the body of a spider, but it's actually a baby.
How is it a baby? Does it have a nappy on it or something?
No.
Well, does it have the head of a baby?
No.
Well, if it looks like a spider and it doesn't actually gurgle at you or anything, how do you know it's actually a baby?
They keep it in a pram.
Dougal, are you absolutely sure about this? You're not confusing it with the dream you had or anything?
No, honestly, I saw it on the news. Honestly, oh, wait now, actually. Now that you say it, it was a dream, yeah.
Have you been studying this like I told you?
Oh, I have, Ted, I have, yeah. Sorry about that, but we should go anyway, Ted. Come on, it'll be great. Last year I had to go with the horse riding, and it was just fantastic.
I didn't know you could ride horses.
Well, it wasn't a real horse, Ted, like it. It was this owl fella with a saddle on him. God, he must have been about 80, you know. Of course, he couldn't go very fast. Like, you know, I was kind of lashing him with the whip and all that. Couldn't get much of a response out of him, you know.
And how long were you up on him?
Oh, I'd say it was about an hour.
Hey! Hey! What's the problem now? Listen! This Baxter priest is in our spot!
We were just...
Put the fork down!
What?
Put the fork down! Now put your hands very slowly to your sides. Slowly! All right. I'm going to put the megaphone down now, all right? I may. Now, I'm going to reach inside my pocket, all right? Nice and slow. Everything's fine. You get it?
To be honest, I'm just going home. So, fuck off, you pedophile.
All right, come on. Nothing to see here. Come on, back to the picnic. Nothing to see here.
Dougal, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?
Oh, this is Father Damo.
How are you? Hello, Father. Playing the old computer game there? Hello, Father Ted Crilly speaking. Yes. Father Frost. Yes, I'll tell him. Father Damien, Father Frost says you're to go home. Your tea is ready.
Tell him I'm not going. I'm having dinner here.
Oh, are you? Yeah. Hello, Father. No, he's staying here for dinner. Father Damien, Father Frost said you're to go home immediately.
Shy! Did you tell him I'm having dinner here?
Yes.
Well, tell him to frick off then.
He's happy enough here for the moment, Father. Right. Okay. Father Frost said if you don't come home now, he'll come down and get you.
Yeah, tell him that's fine. I don't care what he does. He's not the boss of me.
Right.
The admiration for Dougal.
Right. I'm going. Tell him I'm going. I'll see you, Dougal.
Oh.
Just looking at the popular kid, as it were.
Oh, yeah. Just like, oh, yes, this is how people do things.
Yeah.
Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'll just tap it the other way.
Oh, I know. I remember this one.
It's no use, Ted. You'll never get it absolutely right.
It didn't get better. It didn't get better at all.
The absurdity is spot on.
Jordan, I
That's a dustbin, Mrs. Doyle. Where's Richard Fax?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to shower with sugar lumps and ride you over fences, polish your hooves every single day, and bring you to the horse dentist.
He was taken way too soon.
Yeah.
Like a train in the night, like a train in the night.
Oh, they kept him the sax solo good.
We have to lose that sax solo.
There you are, Father. You wanted the official tour.
Oh, God, yes. He's been talking about nothing else all day. Will you calm down, you...
Oh, I think it went to an advert break.
Oh.
Again, you can't watch anything without a bloody ads. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what's coming up next, which is Meatloaf's favourite Father Ted moment. After this bit. Oh, did not press. Oh, that's it.
Did not press.
Father! What? I wasn't going to press it.
Sorry, I was only asking if you'd ever been in a cockpit before.
No. But I was on the bridge of a ceiling ferry once, and it was funny, but I was looking at the controls, and nothing happened at all.
Hello there, Father. Hello, Colin. Out and about? I am. Same as yourself. Good, good. I hear you're a racist now, Father. What? How did you get interested in that type of thing? Who said I'm a racist? Everyone's saying it, Father. Should we all be racist now? What's the official line the church is taking, I think? Oh, no. Only the farm takes up most of the day, and at night I just like a cup of tea. I mightn't be able to devote myself full-time to the old racism.
Good for you, Father.
What? Oh, Mrs. Carberry.
Good for you, Father. Well, someone had the guts to stand up to them at last. Coming over here, taking our jobs and our women, and acting like they own a second place. Well done, Father. Good for you. Good for you. Second. Second Greeks.
It isn't the Greeks, it's the Chinese he's after. I'm not after the Chinese.
I don't care who we get so long as I can have a go at the Greeks. They invented gayness.
Look, I'm not having a go at anybody. I am not a racist.
Oh.
All right? God.
Second Greeks.
How's Mary?
She's fine. She got that job after.
Great.
All right. I love. All right, so Father Ted. It was always so. It did this wonderful thing of taking just the absolute absurd and putting it into a grounded sitcom, like your atypical sitcom. They replaced the stereotypes with priests and then just let loose with these extreme. They always started so normal, and we're just getting more and more extreme and absurd, and into such realms of farce. So why Father Ted?
Oh, so Father Ted is nostalgic, probably more than any other kind of, of that era sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised on a combination of Monty Python, Red Dwarf,
nice.
Morecambe and Wise, Ronnie Corp, two Ronnies,
yeah.
and Father Ted. Father Ted was always nostalgic to me because it was the one I probably got easy access to from a very early age when my granddad, who is... I've realised a lot of things I'm nostalgic at because they were memories with my granddad, and my granddad is no longer with us.
Right.
So, what I alluded to the fact that emotion is probably a big intensifier, and why it creates nostalgia.
I think possibly the loss at a certain age as well, where those sort of where you can try and cherish those memories a little bit more, and enough time has gone that you can remember them, cling to them, rather than having forgotten a lot of them. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think
these are the memories of my granddad which remain, and a part of that is introducing me to Father Ted because he loved it.
Yeah.
Now, and I think one of the big reasons for that is because I inherited my humor from him. It is very much, that Python-esque, two Ronnies.
Yeah.
It's not surrealist, but like what I call ludicrous humor.
Yeah, farce. It's farce. Yeah.
Farce humor.
Yeah.
Because and Father Ted is a fantastic example of farce humor. It always starts so simple. It starts like a regular sitcom.
Right.
Like for one of I think the whole Fair episode, when the Spider Baby scene, the Fair episode, is one of the earlier episodes, and it is probably the most. I always believe, I have no way of proving this, I've not read this anywhere, this is just my personal take.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first episodes to be written.
Okay.
Because it is probably the platonic ideal of the Father Ted formula.
Right.
It starts how a regular sitcom would start. The quiet one is in the corner, the main character is sitting at the table, continuing a normal day, and then the inciting incident character walks in.
Right.
This, that could be any sitcom.
Yeah, absolutely could be, yeah.
And it's introduced, there's a fair, and there's a bit of character back and forth that is very much surrealist to Father Ted. You have Dougal being an absolute nincompoop.
Taking the sort of character tropes to their extreme level.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not just a bit of an idiot. Yeah. He is the king of all idiots, right?
He is the king of all gormless 13-year-old idiots.
Exactly, yeah.
It's for... Have you been studying the chart? The fact that there needs to be a chart.
Yeah. Exactly. Still educated's got that Blackadder Baldrick dynamic from Blackadder 2, which is very much like you are less intelligent than I, and it's quite clear. So I'm not going to patronise you. I'm going to educate. I'm going to pretend that it's not.
It has echoes of that. Now Baldrick, we have 4 beans, and if I add 2 beans, it has that echo to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go and see me and Battle Hamster perform that very scene from Blackadder, you can check it out on my YouTube. Well, you can see us do countless scenes. Actually, we also did the Monty Python tribute with me earlier this year.
Yes.
Which was a lot of fun, Steve, here.
That was so much fun.
So we had Meatloaf there, dressed up, trying to do an accent. He ended up trying a cross between Mrs. Doubtfire and someone vaguely Welsh, I think. Me as Balder, and you coming home as the miner, what's it, the aristocratic miner, I guess. It might be
the educated miner.
Yeah, educated miner, yeah. So, me, I love my British comedy. For Father Ted was so different that I remember when I seen it when I was young, and I've never met anyone who doesn't like Father Ted. I've met people who haven't seen it. I've never heard anyone say, I'm not a big fan of Father Ted. It was a weird one when I was young. It was one of these things where I thought, I didn't quite get it. I think, I knew it was funny. But it was so different to everything else at the time. I link it very much with Game On. Game On came out at the same time. They released on VHS together. They were kind of the... I think even when they were released on VHS, they were both promoted together as well. So they kind of got very much interlinked. Game On was very traditional sitcom, very funny. But then Father Ted was the kind of... I don't know, what would that be? A distorted reflection of that very ideal or very trope-heavy sitcom formula. And so I felt a bit alien by it because it wasn't 40 Hours here. It wasn't...
Yeah.
It was very much its own unique thing, and I think that's why it stood the test of time much more. People still talk about Father Ted even now. There's only been, I believe, I think there's 2 Christmas specials. So
yeah, only 2 Christmas
Two
specials.
Christmas
They didn't.
and
They
then
didn't do the third.
2 series, 2 Christmas specials, I believe.
3 series.
3 series.
3 series, 2 Christmas
because
specials.
they didn't get to do the third one. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get to do the third.
So I mean, a very limited run for a very pocket of time. Actually, I was hoping, because I know what twigged it for me. I know what made me fall in love with it, and then actually sit down and like binge watch it. And that at the time, because I used to get home and like I'd stick on a VHS and watch like 3 or 4 episodes, because that's how the tapes could only hold 3 or 4 episodes. And I remember watching the one where he meets Victor Meldrew, Richard. Why can't I think of his last name? Richard Wilson. Yes, Becky Street. Just as he put it in there, I got it. Richard Wilson, and that whole scene, I thought was just superb, and it made me want to go, that was really good. I'm actually crying right now. I have to go back and see what I've been trying to, I was at the right front. I had to wait until my mind caught up with what it was presenting, and I think with Our Father Ted, you wouldn't have got stuff with the same level of absurdity as maybe Gimme Gimme Gimme, to later on, IT Crowd, definitely, which Graham Linehan ended up writing both, I believe. So you could definitely see
they're both written by Graham Linehan.
Even Alan Partridge delved into that same level. You can see Graham's hand in his work. Unfortunately, Graham is a bit of a knobhead in person. I should clarify that definitely not going to judge him on his work. His work, he knows comedy. It's good, and I would say a lot of it is dated. I would say a lot of it, but that could be said for most British comedy right now. There is a lot of stuff being cut up and taken, because I think, and I said we were talking about this about Little Britain. I remember. I don't think we did this on stream, but we were talking about how Little Britain's definitely getting like censored. But at the time it came out, it was meant to be a extreme reflection of rising cultural like concepts and stereotypes. Yeah. And they were meant to sort of highlight the absurdity of the anti-folk. So it was the people that were very anti-trans when that was starting to become a little bit more probable, anti-gay, and in highlighting the absurdity of the extreme right, I guess. I don't think it's too political, but the extreme right opinions. But unfortunately, out of context and a different time period, it just looks like
what
absolutely. It was set out to not
Little Britain is, and I remember I actually studied it. I studied Little Britain philosophy.
Oh, interesting.
Which is an amazing scene, and just goes to show just how intelligent my philosophy teacher was.
Right.
Because Little Britain is the ultimate it's called ad absurdia.
Okay.
Ad absurdia, which means to take to the absurd.
Yep.
Now, in philosophy circles, I'm trying to think of one that's probably stream safe. It would be something like to say that you don't like seagulls is to say that all birds should be shot.
Right, exactly. It's taking that.
Now, that's not what you're saying, but it's taking it to the nth degree.
It's taking it to a personal, to a general, to an extreme general action. But each one reflects the initial contempt or emotion towards the original stance.
And Little Britain was very much picking up on things that weren't quite right. You know, there was a lot of ableist culture.
Yep, there was.
You know,
the benefit cheat stuff. Documentaries being made all
benefit
the time
cheat,
about that,
and which was very much. It was never intended for that, but it was utilized as a way to really ostracize and almost incriminate people who needed support, because the only thing you never got the people who actually needed benefits on the news. You always got the people who were being like on the news. This person has been accused of benefits scamming. They were stealing millions of pounds from the government.
Yeah, and then that creates a zeitgeist of what the idea that if you were against those people that were cheating the system, then there was the extreme opinion that everyone's cheating the system. And then what would that look like? In all sides. So that's when you've got Lou and Andy, who Lou is clueless to the fact that the person he's looking after could just get up and walk around and do absurd things without his entire knowledge. So Lou is the kind of government official that is always being blindsided, and
Yeah.
And it's the benefit chip. But of course, it's taken to the extreme to illustrate that no, that isn't everyone. People are genuinely disabled. That we're highlighting the point that yes, while there is a minority of people that would do this action or have this sort of reflection or action, that's not everyone. And so here's what society would look like if you had your way. It's the same with chav culture with what was her name? Pollard, wasn't it? What's her first name?
Ooh.
I think Strixie might know.
Yeah.
I'm drawing blanks here. Vicky Pollard. Vicky Pollard.
Yes, Vicky Pollard.
Yeah, Vicky Pollard. So the idea that chavs were all gonna not be able to be understood. They all wore tracksuits. They were all spotty and unintelligent. And if you notice, everyone around her tends to be pretty much very normal. All of her friends tend to be either fairly educated or very normal. But she is the absurd example of an ideal or a concept that has permeated Britain at the time. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. What was that again? It was ad absurdia.
Reductio ad absurdum, which means to reduce to the absurd.
There we go.
And yeah, it's like because a lot of Little Britain was taking these little niggles and these caricatures which people were kind of creating and turning them into a character,
right?
With the express purpose of putting them up on a plinth and being like, "This is what you guys think,
right?
How silly are you?" But when you take that out of context, all it becomes is, hey, this is what a chav is, or hey, this is what a disabled person is, or this is what a person with mental disabilities is. And nowadays we look at that and go, that's uncomfortable. But the irony is, the whole point of Little Britain was to say, hey, this is what you're claiming exists. Does that make you uncomfortable? Well, it should.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing with Graham, and the reason why I brought up and went into that is because that absurdity, I think, it permeates Graham's work as well, just in a sitcom format.
Yeah.
I mean, nerd culture isn't what the IT crowd dictates. As brilliant as it is, that they're not all basement dwellers, blah blah blah, because society's moved on, and they show that because not only do they frame them in the way that people would perceive those kind of people, but they also go through their relationships and the stereotypical stuff they do to show that they are people. Yes, they might be out of place at a football match. But that's because you're comparing them to what you think is normal. So it's sort of like it allowed some acceptance. And I think with Father Ted, what they did there was they took different levels of education, the alcoholism. They took the whole of, like, there's obviously a lot of religious themes in there as well, a lot of stereotypes and tropes, and they turned them on their head, took them to the extreme to illustrate the absurdity of the very black and white extremist opinions, and like giving people what they think they like, and showing how absurd the thoughts are that generate their opinions sometimes.
It's very interesting. So Father Ted was, like you mentioned earlier, you don't see anyone who is Father Ted, who doesn't like Father Ted. I either haven't seen it or, well, I grew up in a very Roman Catholic household.
Oh, right. Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it was my... I don't like going too far into my own beliefs on
that's
Twitch,
fine.
mainly because I don't think it's the right platform for that.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah, no worries.
There's too much of a power imbalance in both ways to really talk about. I am, was a confirmed Catholic. And so Father Ted, I'm thinking, you must hate Father Ted because it's poking fun at Catholics, Irish Catholics. So surely you should be against this. This is, discriminating against your beliefs. And I'm like, but it isn't. They never attack the church.
They don't,
it's always,
right.
And if you look at the characters, it's this bizarre sitcom of what if we actually created all of these stereotypes people think exist? The drunk pervert, Father Jack, the doddering idiot who's gone into the church because he basically stumbles into it somehow, but hey, look, what any idiot can be a priest. And the totally person on the flint. Like Father Ted, if you boil down his character, and it's even said in one episode that he's the dropout who entered the priesthood because his more intelligent brother was a doctor.
That's right.
And the reason he's in Craggy Island is because he may or may not have been involved in money laundering or theft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have Bishop Brent says, and you'll stay here until all of that money is accounted for. That's a line that, and he keeps on going. The money was just resting in my account. So what we have here is a caricature of the three different major antagonistic stereotypes taken to their extremes and put on a small island where shenanigans happen.
And what I love is the fact that the priesthood in the sitcom is used as a veil of innocence. We don't expect anything other than a nice, calm, sort of you said the word clinical before, like that's very good, very objective way of looking at what a priest should be. So by making all these absurd characters, whether they're in the priesthood or not, by then putting them in the priesthood, added an extra layer of absurdity to the expectation, or how one would talk, like you sort of like, here a racist now, Father. Should we just follow the lead of the church? It's like, it sort of knows when to draw the line so that it doesn't attack, and I think that's very clever, and that I think why it stood the test of time again, because it is a very smart sitcom. But you cannot choose your audience, and the same thing with Little Britain. People were always in an outrage about Little Britain at the time because they took it for face value. You can't just, not every joke someone's going to get, essentially, and if you can't understand any sort of irony or anything like that, you don't have to have like a degree in philosophy to understand what's going on, but at the same time it can be very easily lost on many people and can lead to a lot of backlash. Is that Matt Lucas' character? I know what you never watched British Trixie? Yeah, no, they knew what that was. Did she see a ludicrous display last night? So going from TV, and we saw it a little bit earlier on, to film, we saw Hercules, and he's at the window behind you, knocking on the pane. He's been waiting to come in. What is it about Hercules that you love so much?
So Hercules was my favorite Disney film growing up as a small child.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, if someone said, watch a Disney classic, you're not allowed to watch Pirates of the Caribbean or Star Wars or anything that's been brought in, like Disney classic. One of the Disney classics that by contract they have to turn into a live action because every 10 years they have to re-release or remake.
There was actually a Hercules one, wasn't there? With The Rock. Yeah, there was.
Yeah. It's like, one of the ones we have to remake.
Yeah.
What would it be? Hercules, without a doubt.
Okay.
I even had a Hercules costume
at a
Halloween party.
Oh, the muscles.
No, but just like my mum made the tunic and the cape. I had a red cape because I preferred the color red.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was like it was everything I loved, and unsurprisingly, people who know me know that I love history.
Yeah, of course.
And the classics, and I love researching the pagan religions and the Greek pantheon and the Roman pantheon, and I've been told many times by work colleagues now that I need to go do TikToks and about different Roman gods, and I will absolutely go to the bat that Hades is a complete misunderstood character.
Really? Oh,
and all of that comes from Hercules. All of that love for Rome and Hellenistic Greece and the ancients and the classics, which led me to research medieval and become an archaeologist.
Yeah.
That very early fascination with the past, with the ancients, the seed is planted in Hercules.
Interesting, because I love the 90s. I think the 90s Disney is fantastic. You tell me what my favourite Disney films are. Aladdin, The Lion King, Mulan. I suppose a little bit more Pocahontas, I suppose. It's all right, but I think the others are better. Hercules, Tarzan, right? Yeah. I'm loving those films. I don't know about you, but I just remember they used to get toys at McDonald's. What I mean is that they were everywhere. Like when these Disney films came out, they were promoted big, and they were in children's cereal boxes and all this kind of stuff. they were just everywhere. The PlayStation 1 game of Hercules is amazing. Like,
Oh, that was such a fun
such
game.
a good game. It's now on Steam. You can get it on Steam. It's so good. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is on Steam. I'll tell you what. I'll leave it on. If it is,
I need to open Steam.
I will gift it to you if you're a friend of me on there. Why not? So yeah, I think it is, and it's such a great moment for me. The 90s Disney films do really take me back to that period, which I love so much. Yes, it ties in with my history of gaming, but also just watching the cartoons and I'm sure I don't think I saw Notre Dame, Hunchback of Notre Dame at the cinema. I rarely went to the cinema when I was a kid, actually. So I saw these when they were on home media. But I remember being swept up in the promotional hype of Hercules. Now, yeah, I'm not surprised given the historical stuff. But of course, a lot of Hercules took creative license, of course, because it was being,
I will go to bat that Hercules is not trying to be a historical film. Like, the Muses are very clearly gospel singers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I love that.
And that's one
because
of the things they did quite well.
It's Hercules for a modern audience, and it's Hercules for children.
Yeah,
we do not know what a Greek aria sounds like.
Right.
We don't. It's lost. We know the words of Greek arias. Mm-hmm. We know that you would dedicate the muses. We know the name of the muses. You know, they're led by Calliope and all that stuff. But we don't know what a Greek arias be. But oh my god, that gospel sing, it gets the blood pumping. You get really interested. You're like, oh great, cool. You know, it's funny. It's lighthearted. And
really
when you're doing a kids movie, you don't want it to be heavy.
No.
I mean, yeah, like Hades and the Underworld are heavy subjects, but Hades is like a smooth-talking, somewhat greasy.
They make it accessible.
I want to say Chicago. You know, fast-talking. Hey, it's me, Hades. Yeah, it was cool. Do lunch. It's okay, cool. Yeah, sign the contract. You know, he's very greasy, which is far more like relatable, digestible, relatable and digestible. It's like. He's in that first setting of Olympus for like maybe 10 seconds. You know everything you need to know about Hades for the rest of the film from 10 seconds. He's a bit slimy. He's sly. He's always thinking like 10 steps ahead.
And when you're making children's entertainment, you need things to be very visually identifiable to an emotional response. So
exactly,
you need to make sure that this is clearly the villain, and you don't need them to go around chopping everyone's heads off to make them be untrustworthy for a child to be receptive to. And I think one thing Disney did amazing with their animation was get emotion across in a very good way. They can make you feel. They can make you feel. And they did that way back with Bambi, but like when technology increased, they were really able to. But I love chopping people's heads off. Yeah, no, we know you're a villain, mate. Yeah. We already had you down, Cthulhu man.
It's like the setup and payoff. It's like even with that 10 seconds, it's like, you know, there is nothing about that first 10 seconds. He makes you uncomfortable. You don't trust him, but you don't think he's evil. And then you immediately cut to like Hades in the Underworld, and he's completely different. That is like the Hades we see where he's fast talking and a bit greasy is absolutely his customer service voice.
Yes, exactly. And then a persona,
Yeah, and then you see him out, and he's like, big fires and hairs, and you've got the two little like psychics going, oh.
Hercules is very visually dynamic. It's very good, and it plays with the themes when you think of ancient Greece. There is a lot of images that probably would come to mind, even if you've never even studied it. And I think they did a great way of encapsulating the themes and ideas. Because let's be honest, those stories, they are dark and they are twisted. Right?
Oh yeah, like not get even into the fact that if you know anything about the story of Hercules. The fact that his first wife is called Megara is just like, oh no.
There's even a joke. I've just remembered. Isn't there a joke where they walk out of some kind of? I can't remember. They were watching something, or there was a presentation or something like that. They're walking down the steps, and he says, "That guy, that fellow." It was someone who like slept with his mother or something like. What am I thinking of? I'm getting confused. Roman. Oedipus, thank you. I was thinking
Oedipus.
Caligula for some reason. I was like, no, that's Roman. But no, yeah, Oedipus. He's like, yeah, that Oedipus guy. Oh, and it kind of makes a kind of subtle adult joke there.
Yeah, it's like, if you know, you know.
Exactly, and they don't shy away from. I suppose obviously they're not going to show that on screen or have the same themes, but they sort of like. For the adults in the audience that know that this is much darker than you would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, and yeah, the caveat as well. It's like the fact that at some point, I believe it's for Toucan. I Lion King is the one film I've struggled to remember.
Right. Okay.
It's like, oh, you look good as a rug, and then Scar makes an appearance.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
And the funny, like the interesting thing as well, like if you know your history, if you know the history of Hercules, you are absolutely certain that it's the Nemean lion. And it took me years to work out it was Scar, because when I saw the lion, I'm like, of course, it's the Nemean lion. The only way he can is he basically bops it on the head and then uses its own claw to skin it, because only the Nemean lion's claws can hurt the Nemean lion.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, and then it wasn't until someone pointed out, like, oh, it's Scar. I'm like, oh,
It is. They were full of those Easter eggs. Though they were always a gem. I don't know if they still do, because I'll be honest, I don't watch Disney. I know it might be absurd, but I really don't like the company.
It's terrifying. Like we have seen the end of like true freedom of information, because copyright is not patent. Copyright is its own thing, and we will never ever, like, seriously, but the last thing to go, whatever it was, the last thing to come out of copyright and into public domain is the last thing we will ever see enter public domain, because every single time Mickey Mouse almost gets to a couple of months gets towards becoming public domain, they lobby and the international law is changed.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like we have seen the death of public domain because Mickey Mouse wins.
I've got a show called Frost Into My Public Domain, where we look back over the year's new releases every February, I think it is. And I didn't even do one this year because so much ended. I mean, we got putting on the Ritz. That was the only thing that was worth talking about. Like everything else was either not really streamable or had already been contested in some form.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even get around that in any way because it's like, oh bugger. So yeah, no, Hercules, it definitely takes me back to that innocent time of the 90s, and just the magic of cinema was encapsulated with these films for me. And I love Back to the Future. Back to the Future is another one that I could just watch again and again, and it just captures like the cinematic experience, the music, the ensemble, the great story that doesn't have to be deep in its themes and all that. I mean, it could be fun, exciting. No, it doesn't even necessarily have to be action-packed, but at least it has to have something visually stunning to keep you going. And I think Hercules, for sure, is definitely one of those films.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's so full of just fantastic cinematographic language.
Carry on.
Yeah, it's like the story structure is so simple. It is literally the hero's journey. That's all Hercules is. The hero's journey.
Yeah.
He starts off as a nobody. He has this training montage, and he has his first act victory. That's the first act. Then you have the second act breakdown, which is the whole thing of like the Hydra and then Fame and then losing Megara to Hades and then losing his powers to the deal with Hades. And then you have the final act where he pushes through and despite not having his powers, dives into the River Styx, comes back out again with Megara's soul and bops Hades back in and walks out, and you have the whole thing of no one can survive it except, oh God! And then he comes up glowing, because he's glowing now.
Why not?
And it's just like, and again, the cinematographic language, all of the gods apart from Hades glow.
Mm-hmm.
Mars glows red, Dionysus glows purple, Hermes glows kind of this faint blue, Zeus glows gold, and Hercules, the son of Zeus, glows gold.
I should have done this research before, because it just struck me. because a lot of the films from the 90s ended up having direct-to-DVD or direct-to-VHS sequels. And I was curious if whether Hercules had the same treatment. And I'm just looking now, and I know you can. I think you can see it. There was a Hercules Zero to Hero, which seems to be a prequel to. The first one. Did you watch that at all?
I remember this film. I did watch this film. So Hercules Zero to Hero is basically him. Because we had that montage. We had that montage where he defeats the Centaur. And he and Philoctetes is going around doing defeating the Nemean lion and all the stuff that we see in that montage. And Hercules Zero to Hero is kind of like a lot of his training and a little bit of that montage.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, I like the fact they did actually take from there. That's good. I noticed
and it has its own. It has its own thing, but yeah,
it is what it is.
it is what it is, and it's a good film.
Was an animated TV series? Did you see that as well?
I never saw the TV series.
There's only 2 series, 52 episodes in the first one, 13 in the second. 98-99. So they all came out roughly around the same time. And of course, we love the Hercules world in Kingdom Hearts, says Big Potato. Well, I do it well because that's the Colosseum, isn't it? So a lot of parts have been broken there. A lot of Kingdom Hearts have been broken because that is a very difficult area of the game, especially if you're looking to beat Sephiroth. T-Man loves the Hercules movie. Yeah, I know. Well, so does Hamster. Actually, so do I. I bloody love it. I'm so glad you chose that because it's genuinely one of my favourites from that period. Now, I want to touch on, if I may. You mentioned how much you love history, and of course, Hercules being set in ancient Greece. You may have been there recently. I don't know, in the guise of Assassin's Creed, perhaps in Odyssey. The video game you've chosen this evening is Assassin's Creed. I want to debate you to the screen because I want to take you back to 2007 and a trailer I saw that basically changed. But I hated. I got a PS3. I had no games to play on it. Nothing was out. There was nothing out until this trailer dropped for a game coming out that fall. Let me take you to that. Look out for the crossbow that doesn't appear in the final bloody game.
Oh god, yeah.
I eat Colosseum Sephiroth for breakfast.
I see you like eating sadness and failure. That was my experience of that level.
You heard me both. Oh, here it is. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Hasn't aged a bit. I know it's CGI, but still.
Oh, I know.
Simple days of just the stealth.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't really stealth.
No, it wasn't really. Yeah, it was blow your cover and run away.
Yeah, blow your cover, run away, kill all the guards.
Oh, this was a great moment.
Oh god, yeah.
There it was. So that was the dawn of a new franchise. That I'll actually keep that up because I like the logo being there. The start of a new franchise there back in 2007. I remember it. I remember getting it and I was blown away. It was incredible to be able to. It gave me a. It came out at the perfect time. So I was I was a bit of a clown at school, and I didn't really have the teachers. I didn't have the good education that one would expect. It just was substitute teachers, all that kind of stuff. So when around this time, I was trying to educate myself. I had the internet at my disposal. I had all the time in the world. I was I just got a job that was part-time, so I had a lot of time on my hands. This gave me a interest in learning about history in a way that things have never had before, and I would contribute a lot of my early education and thought processes into this game. I mean, it also ended with one of the biggest mysteries with that stuff on the wall. Like, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. But the only downside about the first game was the fact that you could collect flags, and if you were on the PlayStation, they did nothing. If you were on Xbox, all they gave you was an achievement. But the fact is, video game history coming together in the biggest way possible. This must have been a wet dream, Hamster.
Oh, it was.
It
was
through.
big.
Talk us through your discovery of Assassin's Creed, and then just why you've chosen it today and your love for this series. Now, you have spoken about it before on the Master Debaters. I do recall. If you want to check that out on my YouTube, you can. But here, you're not competing. You don't have to convince us. Have fun.
So, Assassin's Creed, specifically the first game, the reason why I've chosen it is because whenever I sit down to Assassin's Creed game, this is the one I always compare it to.
Okay.
You know, even the modern ones, Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is set in Baghdad, dropped recently. It is a phenomenal game because it is to me, it's a phenomenal game because it is close to this.
Yeah.
This game was open world before open world was another open world game, because they don't make non-open world games anymore.
If I recall, it was Grand Theft Auto, and then you had Grand Theft Auto clones. But there wasn't really an open world genre.
No, there was not an open world genre, and this was open world. This was a way of playing a game we had never seen before, to me at least. I remember when you would select a level, you know, you'd go continue, and then you'd be like level select, and you select a level, and you'd go do that level, and then you'd enter another level.
Mm-hmm.
This was completely different. This was, you know, you woke up and in the game, and you started the game, and you were in Masyaf, and you walk around and you do missions, and you go to either Damascus, Jerusalem, or Acre. And that was it. You just go, and it was a new way of playing a game, but it was a game where I finally got to run around in these places I heard about. You know, I had my schooling was very. I had a big iffy point in my school year where I was in hospital for 9 weeks, and for a long time after that 9 weeks, I basically couldn't. I couldn't go outside and play.
Mm-hmm.
So I was stuck very much indoors reading, and I'd read history books. And I would read about the Crusades, and I'd read about knights in the 12th century with the banners and the People's Crusade and the Second Crusade and the First Crusade with Saladin and Richard Coeur de Lion.
My first entrance into history and like having a love for it was thanks to Broken Sword back in the 90s because it dealt around the Knights Templar. So I actually learned a lot about the Knights Templar in that era. So when Assassin's Creed came along, I was like, oh my god, this is my jam. And then it just led me back into that flow. Yeah, carry on. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, and for me it was I finally got to see Third Crusade era, Jerusalem. I got to see Acre after it had been in Christian hands for X amount of time. I got to see Damascus, and the siege of Damascus is a huge thing in the Crusade literature. And I finally got to see Damascus, and I remember it's like this game felt so free.
Yeah.
Because you do a couple of missions where you go around and you relearn how to be an assassin. Obviously, for us, it's you learn how to be an assassin.
Hit all the viewpoints.
Learn all the game mechanics. You hit all the viewpoints. But I remember just being like, there is one man who you must kill. One man whose life is dedicated to, there is men who are misled by evil and their lives can be saved. There are men who are corrupted by evil and they must die. Go to Damascus and kill this man.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
felt
like, okay.
that allowed every death that you did, every kill, every assassination to have more substance.
Yeah.
I thought back then. I still say that now. I've played the first Assassin's Creed after I think Black Flag came out, and I was like, this just lends so much purpose to what I'm doing. It gives you time to breathe. And one thing that you spoke on there about being on like actually able to see these cities and sort of travel in a way through time even. Despite how one may feel about the games over the years, the love and care into the recreations of these places, even if they're not 100% accurate, is absolutely amazing and phenomenal, and it's always a gem to experience.
I mean, taking Valhalla, putting aside Valhalla, because Valhalla has its own issues, and I will very happily talk about them. But but for now, we'll set that aside. So we'll pretend Valhalla didn't exist. There is an element of love in trying to recreate the essence of the places they're going to. Now, one of my favorite examples of this is in Venice in Assassin's Creed 2. So there's a couple of really, really good decisions they make in Venice in Assassin's Creed 2. One is they remove the Bridge of Sighs. Now, if you don't know about the Bridge of Sighs, basically it is like the main tourist attraction in Venice that isn't one of the squares. Like, the Bridge of Sighs is well known. Everyone who knows about Venice architecture and tourism will talk about the Bridge of Sighs. The Bridge of Sighs was not built by the time of Assassin's Creed 2.
Right, gotcha.
So they removed it. They absolutely got snotty emails saying, "Oh, why didn't you include the Bridge of Sighs? The Bridge of Sighs is Venetian." It's like, it is, and it didn't exist.
Yeah, they're historical accuracy, right?
The other intelligent thing they do is they take St. Mark's Square in Venice, which is the big tourist attraction in Venice, St. Mark's Square. And they go, well, okay, if we make it truly authentic, no one is going to recognize St. Mark's Square.
Right.
So the buildings, they basically leap forward about 100 or so years to being in the neoclassical kind of early Baroque style. Because, quite frankly, if they didn't, there would be riots.
Because it would be that unremarkable?
Because, people would be like, this isn't St. Mark's Square. St. Mark's Square is all this white marble and floral decoration.
Because
that's neoclassical.
You have to make sure that you give a sense of place to these things, that feeling of if you miss... Yeah, I get it, because it's like having a landmark that wasn't built is historical accuracy, but having something that was there but doesn't quite feel how the audience will expect, or at least give that... That's I understand why you would make that.
But they do changes, like they do like take out some of the upper stories that were never there, and they put a gallows in the middle of it to make it a bit more medievally. So they do some set dressing. And one of the things I love about AC2 and also in AC Brotherhood is they take the same thing to Rome. Now with Rome, they basically unexcavate all the Roman ruins because they can play around in it, but we know they were not excavated until the 1960s. But one of the major areas you go around is the Vatican, and it's specifically St. Peter's Basilica. Now, during this period in history, St. Peter's Basilica did not have a dome.
Oh, didn't it? Oh.
It didn't have a dome.
Oh, okay.
But if you went to Rome and showed the Vatican and you didn't have St. Peter's Basilica with this Byzantine-style, later Venetian-style dome...
Yeah.
That is probably the most recognizable aspect of the entire Vatican.
I will admit,
the dome.
I would have been a bit curious, because I would have been. I'm one of those people that would have been like, I don't recognize what this was trying to be unless you told me exactly what it was. It's true.
But what they do is they put it in scaffolding.
They do put it in scaffolding. That's right. Yeah.
And it's almost like, and the bits of the Vatican you actually get to mill around on are based on the medieval floor plan not the new floor plan. So they take the medieval building and put St. Peter's Basilica's dome on top of it.
On top of it, yeah.
And put it in scaffolding and be like, hi guys, we know this isn't there, and the bits that you're going to interact in are actually like they should be during this period. But if we don't put the dome in, you guys are going to hate us.
So are you happy with the fact that they are? Because you're able to kind of point it out that, hey, wait, this wasn't here. What happened? Oh, they must have done that for a design choice, or you probably researched exactly why they did it. But it doesn't anger you, I hope.
It doesn't anger me.
No.
And the main reason it doesn't anger me is because probably more than a lot of the people who talk about history on platforms like this, they want to discredit things.
Right, okay.
But a lot of that means I understand in media there are lines you have to draw. And there are rules you can bend and not break. Now, a fantastic one I'll always talk about whenever I bring this up is longbows in films.
Okay, longbows.
So, think about any bow you've ever seen in a movie.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They draw it back, and you get this...
Twang.
And they let it go, and it goes... Whoom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if an arrow goes... although probably kind of like a... sound. What that is a fletching is loose. And it buzzes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it is really detrimental to the arrow, and the idea every single fletcher screws up, making every single arrow is funny.
That's interesting. I love that, because they obviously just want great sound design to allude to what was happening in the moment.
For a bow,
a
bit of a consumer advice for anyone trying to do any form of archery with historical derived or recreations of historical weaponry. If you pick up a bow and you draw it and it creaks, put it down and step away.
It's probably more like you just go bang.
Because the reason why it creaks is because the fibers have become brittle. And if you pull it, and if that tensile strength, and it means they're not flexing properly, which means you're basically creating weak points, or points of inflexibility within the wood. And if you draw that and it snaps,
yeah, exactly.
It is, as my old CEO would say, a significantly emotional event.
I love that.
However, it doesn't worry me. It doesn't worry me in films.
Okay.
Because there is a cinematographic rule, which is everything must have an audio, a visual, and a kind of plot reactive event to be in a film.
Yeah.
Now, you have the visual because you have them drawing the bow and releasing the arrow. You have the plot thing because the arrow will hit something.
Yeah. Or miss on purpose to allude to something. Yeah.
It's on purpose, right? Yeah. However, where does the audio come from? You've got to add audio.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just a non-event.
Otherwise it's it's a non-event.
Or a muted event, I guess.
Or a muted event.
I just want to go over a few things. I took an archery class as potato, but it was so long ago I don't remember much. It was so fun, though. Well, I'm just glad you didn't, stick an arrow in the knee or something.
Yeah.
Meatloaf agrees. I believe that was... I don't know, what was that about, Meatloaf? I remember getting this and playing 30 minutes, the power going out free. I thought, it was this game. It's this Assassin's Creed. I thought it was the second one. Oh, it was the first one. Strixie, we had time to announce this, but so I bought your theme song the other day after I asked you what it is. What do you mean you bought it? What does that mean? What do you mean you bought it? I'm pretty sure it's licensed already. I bought it on bag. Oh, right. What does that mean? Oh. What does that mean? You just listen to it whenever you want, rather than when I stole it? What does it mean? I didn't buy the rights to it. You said, I was going to say. I'm like, AEW own that. I'm just using it because they don't care. Another thing Panda owns, I have a compound bow. He gets a compound bow. Oh, Valhalla, that was it. It was Valhalla, yes. I did see your comment when it came up, but yeah. I have it in flak. I don't know, he's giving me flak. Hamster, what am I going to do? That's also bad. Yeah, no, he's got a compound bow. Ah, so a bow made of compounded material.
Yeah, it's a really cool, usually really cool bows.
Oh, okay, high quality audio file. For a moment there, I thought it was Panda replying about the the bow. So, wow, these bows come with audio now, hamster. They don't even have to add that bit in afterwards. No, high quality audio file. Oh, gotcha. Oh, well, that's interesting. I'm glad you liked it enough to get that. Okay, Hamster, I have to. We are running out of time, so I just want to touch on one last thing about Assassin's Creed, if I may. Well, two things briefly, if I may. One, what is the most egregious use of historical inaccuracy in Assassin's Creed that you've come into? Is there something that's actually annoyed you? And second of all, what is your favourite moment in Assassin's Creed? Because for me, I will never forget, and this is going to be one of the most greatest moments I'll never ever forget, and that is playing Assassin's Creed 2 and getting to the end of the game and meeting the projection and of was it Minerva?
Yeah, Minerva.
And they talk directly, and it's so meta because they talk past Ezio, even though they're talking to him up to this point, into Desmond in the Animus, but also to you, the player.
Yes.
And that was so mind-tripping. I'll never forget that. It was one of the glorious endings to any game ever. It was so good. I felt a part of history.
Yes.
And that's something that I don't think Assassin's Creed has been able to recapture. Is that sense of, I have no idea. Like, this has already taken me to places in the last two games, but now I'm incorporated in. I'm in this moment. I'm in this game. And then they went into annual releases and business practices, and everything seemed to be just churned out. And I was like, And I think that what I've just described there is more of the feeling that people are missing from the last few games and from the mid-2000s, rather than just Mirage and its gameplay aspects. Does that make sense? No, I haven't played
Very
Mirage.
much so.
I haven't looked at it much, but I still think they haven't actually appeased the audience. Because I think what people liked was the sense of purpose and place and special treatment that the games were able to enthrall in people. Hamster, what was your favourite moment? And also, what was that most egregious?
So, my favourite moment of any Assassin's Creed game is definitely... and this is going to be really sad. It's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Oh, interesting. That's actually my least favourite as well. But go on.
No, sorry. Wait, is this is this favourite or bet? Or
is this your favourite moment? Is this your favourite moment?
This is my favourite moment.
No,
it's my favourite moment.
So for me, Brotherhood,
AC Brotherhood.
Brotherhood implemented some multiplayer, and it was all over the marketing. So I actually got a bit annoyed because it wasn't the end to Assassin's Creed 2 I was expecting. So I have a little bit of a sore spot, but actually I've replayed it. It is great, but for me, it's always been one of those in the back of my mind. It's always a low moment. But go on, please. Favourite moment, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Go for it.
Favourite moment for me is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you get to Rome and you do the first mission, and you're walking around with Machiavelli, and you're like, oh, cool, and then you do the first tower break, like Borgia tower break mission.
Okay.
And you climb up the tower, and you get the spinny round cinematic view.
Yeah.
And that is the moment I went, holy fuck, I'm in Rome.
Oh, that is good. Like I said, the sense of place is just
there's
so
Colosseum, and there's Castel San Angelo, and there's Pantheon, and there's the Rome.
Just fanboying. Now I will touch on this because I know these maps and I've learned them. And I could still probably talk you through them. And I'm sure you could as well. If I went there, do you think... I wouldn't get it 100% accurate, but do you think I could use my knowledge of the in-game maps to lead me to locations?
Yes, because I've done it.
Oh, he's done it! Holy shit!
Specifically...
kudos to you.
Specifically, the Pantheon to the Vatican.
Wow, you
or the Bridge of St. Peter.
And you did that trek via remembering the game?
I did that trek via remembering kind of like key points in the game. Now, it's difficult to do other stuff because medieval Rome and modern Rome has changed a lot. There's been fires, there's been bombing, there's been rebuilding, there's been the whole Baroque movement, which was a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's been a lot of home improvement.
Yeah, a lot of improvement, but like specifically like the Roman pantheon has remained exactly where it's been since the Romans built it under Marcus Agrippa, and the Vatican is still exactly where it is across the Tiber River.
It's incredible. And the fact you've done it, I've always wondered if I could, because I don't know that sense of scale. I know that they changed the scale with Unity.
Yeah, they changed the scale with Unity.
Yeah, and I think they did a wonderful job. Again, like as much as that game is hated and all that, I loved walking around France. I loved seeing the going to the top and seeing everything. I could recognise places. I was just so cool.
I was very privileged with Unity because I could only afford to buy one game. Because it was a dual release, it was Unity and it was Rogue.
Oh yes, that's right. It was
they came out at the same time.
Yeah,
and I could only afford to buy one.
Yeah.
So I bought Rogue.
Oh, you bought Rogue, so you missed Unity. Oh, I see.
I then bought Unity the year afterwards.
Oh, I did the reverse. Oh, interesting. So you got a little bit more of a patched version.
Yeah. So when I came back to Unity a year after it had been released, which meant that I avoided all the game-breaking bugs. I avoided all the I can't play this game, it's unplayable, worst Assassin's Creed game ever. I missed all of that by a year.
It's the feeling of people who play Cyberpunk now for the first time compared to...
Exactly. So it's like, I came into Unity, like, Unity's great, I get to run around Notre Dame, and I get to go into Bastille, and I might just have seen the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I had the hidden blade with that one to give him a shank, but hey ho. But yeah, it's like I avoided all the great making runs, and I just got to do Unity game.
Sade is in it, yeah.
Sade is in it.
Yeah,
he is in the Bastille, which is absolutely historically accurate. During that time, he was in the Bastille for the third time he was incarcerated.
Oh right, jeez.
And he's before he was moved to a high security prison elsewhere in Paris, basically. But going to my worst and most hated, genuinely pissed off moment.
Yes, please. This is always interesting.
It is Valhalla.
Oh, it's Valhalla. Okay, you said we're going to look back to this.
Now,
I've not
there
played
are
Valhalla, so I played a bit of Odyssey. I never got around to playing Valhalla because they are
Odyssey
massive games
great.
now. They're just so big.
Yeah.
I haven't got the time.
Odyssey is great because it is absolutely not historically accurate, but it's absolutely how the Greeks would have fought. Their world was like.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a projection.
Like Valhalla, I have many issues with Valhalla.
Oh, really?
The two things that I found genuinely annoying with Valhalla is one, the stave churches. So if you've played Valhalla, you will not know these are churches because they refuse to tell you what they actually are.
Oh, right. Okay.
And these are like the kind of ziggurat shaped, huge, in the game they're Norse temples.
Oh, right. Okay.
What they actually are 14th century Christian stave churches. And they were built to be tall, and the reason why they're called stave churches is they're basically built on these huge wooden staves that are each one is several stories tall, and the stave churches have several stories of these really tall stories to them, and they're in a cross shape. Now, the cross shape is very Christian.
Yeah.
These churches were built in Scandinavia, which is the one bit they got right, in the 14th century. By this point, Scandinavia had been Christian for, 500-700 years.
Right, okay.
But they needed to have some sort of Norse pagan temple. The key thing is, we have no Norse pagan temples.
Oh, I see.
So they took this completely... slightly geographically true, but very, very, very... It's like doing, we're going to do a film about cars.
Right.
So we're going to set it like cars from the 1920s. So we're going to, and one of the settings, because we won a Italian race course, we're going to do the modern Italian major race course. and just shove it in, and people aren't going to notice. And that's the thing. It's not only is it like completely out of character, out of time.
Mm-hmm.
It is the wrong religion.
Right. So
they have literally taken anything they could use that looks kind of cool and different from a modern cruciform, how we would think today is a modern cathedral, and pop it in there because it looks different and it's Scandinavian. So hey, it's Viking. It's like, no, that's
right. Yeah. Yeah. The
other thing is, the other thing that I said was a 2-for-1. This is the second one. The other one is how they handled pagan Celtic religions.
Okay. So okay. So they handled it in a bad way.
Bad way.
Oh, very bad way. Oh dear.
The only time you interact with pagan Celtic religions, bearing in mind there wouldn't have been Celtic pagans in England during the 800s, they had been wiped out by the Augustinian missionaries in 600 AD.
How nostalgic
so
we get in
was,
this streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a historian. That's why I wanted him on.
Yeah.
Can't get more nostalgic for the people that have already passed, Yes,
it's so we're going to portray English Celtics as scary. They do curses, which are really bad, and you need to destroy the curses because they're bad. And they all wear antlers and furs, which are all based off finds from Star-Kar, which is Mesolithic.
I see.
So, very, very old.
Right.
And they're all going to be icky and violent and kill on sight, and it's all, all icky, pagan, murdery,
right?
Capturing people and butchering them in forests to idols, and it's like, that's
They sort of adapted the different periods of history and have sort of adapted them to a more stereotypical thing that might actually serve a purpose for their game. It looks like it's game first in Valhalla.
It is game first. Valhalla is not history first, it is aesthetic first, which has kind of been a thing. It's like, we talked about earlier how they, we're gonna build up this Palazzo San Marco, because if we don't build it up to its Baroque style, people aren't going to recognize it as aesthetic first rather than history. The problem is the Viking aesthetic has been so divorced from historical accuracy for so long. They doubled down on the aesthetic, so we got, blonde Aryan Vikings, which is a very much mirror of neo-Nazi fascism, with the chin tattoos, which are very much I think Canadian Inuit thing, and they have publicly asked, hey guys, can you stop appropriating our very important, significant chin tattoos for all your Viking stuff? And the rest of the world went fine, and AC Valhalla went, no, we're going to use it for our Viking game.
Yeah. Oh, and it's the most modern one as well, so it feels like
it is.
It feels like that shouldn't be happening now. Compared to it feels like it should have been happening earlier in that series when they made these kind of,
especially bearing in mind the people who they're culturally appropriating have specifically asked, can you not? And the first freaking promotional video we got was big boobs, blonde hair, macho Valkyrie shield maiden with a chin stripe tattoo.
Because
one thing they've asked us not to do.
There is the argument of, and I do hear this a lot, that the idea when you play a game, you're playing a fantasy. But I would argue that on a series that has already built its legacy on trying to be accurate and not having super powered heroes, they usually tend to be normal people that learn as the player does.
Yeah.
And that's to go into the last 3 games, I would say, so not counting Mirage. I would say that, in Origins, I loved Origins. I know a lot of people because it was a big change. But I loved exploring Egypt. It's one of my favourite periods of history and just amazing. And I felt like he already was established as a real warrior, right? And he doesn't really grow that much. I would say, if anything, the person who grows is the person they deleted from the game, which is the actual birth of the Assassin Order, which is his ends up being his partner. I can't recall her name.
Aya.
Aya. There we go.
It becomes something else. She ends up Aminette.
Yes. And I love the fact that you meet, because she is actually in Assassin's Creed 2, isn't she? She's one of the statues underneath
Yeah, she is.
the thing. But I don't think they did that with
She
the
is.
other
She kills
three.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, I don't think
She's the one holding the snake.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we noted that when we played Assassin's Creed 2 earlier in the year. I was like, oh, I never knew that she was actually here. But then I looked at the others and was like, I don't think they are depicted in any other thing.
A few of them are.
Oh, they
The
are.
Mongolian
Yeah,
one
actually.
actually is in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
comic,
yeah,
and I
that's
think
good.
the Chinese one with the spear is also in a game.
Is that in the Chronicles? Possibly.
I believe it is one of the
Yeah,
Chronicles
one of the
ones. It's
Chronicles.
not
I
the
know
Chronicles one. They're all familiar with Ezio, but it is
Okay.
another one of those spin-off games.
Right, okay. Because I do remember playing through a lot of those, and they didn't really stick with me, I've got to be honest. So I could understand not like recounting the lore, or they were rather. So we are going to wrap this up just because we've definitely gone over. But we did get a touch on the book series. I can't pronounce it. What is this? The Belgariad?
Belgariad. Or Belgariad. Or
Belgariad.
it's usually spelled Belgariad.
So this is very interesting. When I was looking this up, we can see the books on the table here. It's a 5-book series. Maybe they may have done more, but I from what I gathered, it was 5. And
yeah,
I've never heard of it. This is someone who comes from like the Discworld novels, that comes from Wheel of Time and all of the obviously Tolkien and all that. I've never Game of Thrones, but I've never heard of this series, and I don't understand how I've never heard of this series. But very briefly, would you tell us a little bit about the book series and what it means to you?
So Belgariad is one of the book series that I got given to read as a child because my mum read and loved the series, my grandfather read and loved the series, so I was given this book series to read as a child. It is a fantastic book series, and it is a book series very much of the fantasy ilk.
Yes.
A lot of people say, "Oh, it's a rip-off of Tolkien." It isn't really a rip-off of Tolkien. If you read the Spark Notes version, you'll be like, "Oh, it is a rip-off of Tolkien," because you have the evil god, who has the tower, and there's the orb, and he wants the orb, and it's like, well, no, the orb actually belongs to another god, and Torak stole it.
Right.
It
does seem a lot of these things maybe used in Tolkien, but I feel like
Yeah.
these kind of thematical fantasy like concepts have been around much longer from various different sources.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think it's just Tolkien is very much the most prominent fantasy setting, and people really dedicate themselves to it. That any kind of everything looks very much like a pastiche of it in some manner.
Yeah. Belgariad is interesting because the world is very much a concept of David Eddings. Now, if you know anything about David Eddings, you will know his world building isn't great.
Oh, okay.
His world building isn't great. He's very, I guess you call it low resolution world building.
Oh, interesting. Do you mean like
Where-
bare basic setting?
Yeah,
bare
like the
basic
setting
set
and world
dressing,
building.
and then push of
A
narrative.
basic setting, and it's like, hey, here's this country called Drasnia. Everyone's a merchant, thief, or a spy, or maybe all three at once.
And that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. That is
So
literally
that's
the
all you
entire
get.
country.
So that's what you get.
Hey,
as well.
here's
Right.
Quebec. It's basically the media equivalent of Vikings. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Here's Tol Nedra. It's the ultimate rendering down of everything Greco-Roman. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Where where Eddings really comes into his own is characters,
Yes.
characterization,
Okay.
character moments, character interactions, character webs.
I'm saying yes because I can relate to that. Because
Yeah.
when I write and I always drag myself down because I'm unable to do long-winded descriptive text of environment and scenery. I basically do that, which is get all the information I actually need for the view. I actually write it like a film script in a way. Only the actual stuff that is required needs to be sort of put into put down. But when it comes to character development and dialogue, that's where I shine because that's my forte right there. It's the other stuff I struggle with. I've always looked for a collab when it comes to writing because I always feel like I'm always going to need that extra help with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear that because you go. I mean, a lot of people will criticise that and dismiss it as a result. But this seems to have been a successful series. But
Yeah.
why has it never been adapted to any kind of film or television?
Because there is no way of doing... Okay, I actually do think you could adapt it, but it would have to be a TV series.
Okay.
it would have to be a TV series, and it would have to be at least one series per book.
I think that's doable. I mean, if you look at like we've had Game of Thrones, we've had a Lord of the Rings TV series, and we've had Wheel of Time as well. I mean, we've have seen a series of a highly, what is I was going to say AAA, but that's video games, but like highly financed.
High budget.
High budget. Thank you very much. High budget TV shows being developed in these worlds. It was the one thing that struck me was like, I've never heard of this, and is that because there's never been any kind of prolific alternative media to lead me to the books?
Yeah.
And that seems to have been the case, but they do seem to have, like in the book world, have stood some test of time actually. So do you still read them today? Do you still,
Sorry?
Have you gone back to read them?
Absolutely.
You do? Oh, that's right.
Absolutely. I have them in physical format. I have them in audiobook format because when I'm at work, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I probably read them once every season.
Oh wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm glad they stuck with you, and it also hinged on the showrunners being genuine fans who appreciate and respect the subject. Yeah, absolutely true. There's a lot of backlash on a lot of these shows as well as a result of some people getting it, some people not. I mean, you're never going to please everyone, but you're absolutely right. It will take some actual push.
Yeah. The Bulgaria will be difficult because you need to dedicate. You need to say, we are going to sit down and we are going to do 5 series of a TV show.
Yeah.
And the actors have to dedicate, because one of the key things about the Bulgarian is it's the actors. You need to get actors who are ideal for the role. Not because they're like, no A-lister celebrities, but you need the characters to be ideal for playing that role. You need Silk to be a bit slimy and a spy and cheeky and sardonic. You need Barak to be
not only do you need the right actor, not only do you need the right cast, but you need to keep that cast in contract for the whole thing. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart.
You need to keep that cast.
And hope it. Yeah.
And
it's you
need a showrunner. Sure. Yeah. And you need a showrunner who's going to be able to sit down and take that dialogue and take those emotions.
Yes.
And put them in to video format, because if you don't get that right, the emotional beats which the book is built around, all the conversations the book is built around, aren't gonna hit.
No, you're absolutely right. It would be a big investment, but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Sup Doc, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I want to write in collab too, so Streaksy. Hey. Hobbit Warlord, thank you so much for a resub. I can't believe it's come around that time already. Welcome into the Nostalgia Hour. We've been here for a bloody long while. We're going to actually come to our last thing today, and it's the gramophone over there to play those old CDs you've got next to you there. I say old CDs. Can you tell us what is the band and album you have chosen? Yes, 11 months. I know, mate. Nearly a year. Oh, we're getting there. But tell us about what music you have chosen to be nostalgic about, because let's face it, you said it was the most audible. Does this take you back to a time?
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
This takes me back to my childhood, very much so.
What is the band? What's the album?
The band is Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. Why has everyone left? What's going on? Oh, no, Hamster. Why everyone's left? What's going on? You said Iron Maiden and everyone left. Oh, no. Well, never mind. I've heard that a lot of people do not like Iron Maiden. Like, people who don't like Iron Maiden really hate them, but then people love them. I've never had a problem with them. I never had a problem with them. No, I'm joking, Meatloaf. I'm only joking, Meatloaf. I cassette tape sticks. Oh, do you? Rude. Yeah, I know. What's going on with that? No, please. Yeah, Iron Maiden. Yeah. What's the album specifically? You got it next to you.
Rock in Rio, which was the live recording of their Rio de Janeiro show.
Right.
This was the first. Oh.
Well, that's for later. I hope I got the right one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems to be. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But this was the first album which I ever was given, and it's kind of the first album that was ever mine. I listened to a lot of different music. My parents were very musical diverse. I grew up listening to John Lee Hooker, Sweet Home Chicago and the Blues, to Prodigy, to Iron Maiden, to Metallica.
Smack my bitch up.
Yeah, it's like... send me to the hospital. But yeah, I listen to a lot of different bands. I listen to a lot of different music influences in kind of rock and metal scene. And I remember a very, very old family friend called Mark Jackson giving me for a birthday, I think it was like 6th or 7th, it was low. It was a low number.
Yeah.
Giving me this album as a birthday present.
Very, very influential time in your life as well.
Yeah.
And their formative years as well.
So this was like the first album that went in my CD collection, which was just this CD next to my CD player.
Amazing.
Rather than one I'd stolen from downstairs from my parents' CD collection that had migrated its way up to my bedroom.
Yeah,
not to CD player.
I had that with VHS tapes that my sister would have. Yeah, I want to watch this one. Oh yeah, go on, any of those are mine now. It stays in my room now.
I would go to school and there'd be a weekly purge where my mum would come upstairs and just steal her CD. But this was one that was mine, and it stayed in my CD player for ages, and it's still somewhere.
Oh wow!
It's still somewhere in my room, in my family room. Yeah, and this was the album I listened to constantly, and I could sing to all the, and it got me into metal, and it got me into guitars. When I started to learn guitar, sorry.
No, you're right.
The first song I learned to learn by myself, on tablature. So I first learned to read myself and play myself was Trooper by Iron Maiden from this album.
Right. That's fantastic.
And I'd do this kind of thing where I'd jump up on the bed and I'd hit play on the CD, and then I'd jump down off the bed and pick up a guitar and try and get the strap on.
I love it. What
and
a great image.
And turn the volume up on the guitar, because the last thing I want to do was try and pick up a hand of guitar with the volume up, because it'd just be clang clang wham.
Yeah.
Before the real intro started, because as it was a live album, there was a lot of Bruce Dickinson talking to the crowd, and the crowd going "Wah!" So it was a race between hitting play on that CD player and jumping down to pick up the guitar before they actually started.
Amazing. So have you seen them live?
I have seen them live.
You have seen them live. How was that?
Naomi took me to see them for my birthday.
Oh my word! That's amazing, Naomi. You are a dream maker. That's what you are. Now I know why they call you Naomi Dreams. You're a dream maker. That must have been amazing, especially to have that connection.
It was amazing.
That nostalgic. I mean, everything you could have chosen today. That was what you chosen. So I can imagine that was amazing. To have that feeling. Now we are coming to the end of the show. So I do apologise for only touching briefly on those final 2 points. But we are going to play us out here tonight with Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark, live at Rock in Rio. So thank you, everyone that has joined us tonight. Thank you for being with us, because this was meant to be the Nostalgia Hour. We went 2.5 hours. This is just like when I had Nostalgia Tash on last year, honestly. I mean, we just get time escapes us, but in some ways, it always stays with us, doesn't it? So we're gonna play out to that. So we're gonna just disappear, and you can watch it on the big screen. But thank you everyone who's stayed with us in chat.
Yeah.
In terms of when you'll see me next, we have my birthday stream coming up on Friday. Hey! Party. Eddie's going to be here. We're going to be doing some hijinks and shenanigans. There'll be community games throughout the day as well. I'll let you know what we're doing next Sunday, tomorrow. But also the new schedule, which I can announce today, will be Tuesday, Friday and Sunday. Less days, so yes, but higher quality content, because every stream and that I do will be a very unique show or gimmick. I don't really like the word gimmick, but a gimmick stream. There's going to be something here that's unique. I won't just be sitting here playing one game anymore. Simple as that. I mean, that will happen eventually, but there'll be a reason for it. There'll be a more interaction, a more incentive to engage with the concepts I've come up with. So if you always want to stay abreast of what's happening, you can check out my schedule on Twitch, which updates every Monday, or you can check in the Discord to keep up to date on everything that's going on. It means more guests, more variety. I want to be the king of variety on Twitch, more stuff like this. You never know what you're going to get. That's what Soul TV is all about. So thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in tonight. We're going to play out with this for Hamster and say good night. Good night.
Good night. Although, if I may say one last thing.
No, goodbye. No. Go ahead, of course. Of course, this you're our guest. No, please, go ahead.
Whilst we're talking about scheduling, for those of you who may not know, I started out on this platform streaming.
Oh, yes. That reminds
And
me.
I started out with a team called Blind Bandits, which was my original partner, the Bora Show. I stopped streaming mainly due to internet reasons, communication reasons, and also just kind of a lack of inspiration. But I am back.
Yes, there we go.
I'm back streaming. Naomi Dreams, we're back streaming under Nemi Venom, and I'm going to be doing some solo streams, mainly some Minecraft and some building and some armory work, as well as some games, on Thursdays, ironically.
Oh, hey, there you go. There's both of them there. Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant, because I might be able to tune in. Can I say last one thing as well? No, says Nightbot. I'm sorry about that, Strooks. Chat's still open while we're playing. No, it's fine. You go ahead. Also, actually, while I do that, actually, welcome back. Let's get a taste of. I mean, if people haven't already got a taste of what you are already, then. Actually, are you the Battle Hamster? There we go.
The Battle Hamster, yes.
Yes. Oh, still my announcement, why don't you?
There's a ladybird.
Sorry.
On my glass. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, we've got ladybird on the glass. Oh, it has to be on the
There is a
smallest
ladybird.
bloody...
There is a ladybird on my glass.
You've said ladybird, haven't you? Oh, no, we're going all the Americans complaining now that it's a ladybird.
Hello there.
Oh, God. I forgot this existed.
Come on.
As with most of my clips.
Hamster,
Well, now
bug
there is
catcher extraordinaire.
A ladybird on my old university card.
Brilliant.
Coming to a garden near you.
We have a friend!
The ladybird friend, yes.
And you almost got, like, drunken Pepsi. I'm gonna put you there.
Oh, I'm honestly so glad that I actually managed to invite you on in the time that you're coming back. So that's fantastic. I was a bit curious about that. We did have the thing set up for you. I was too sure because you alluded to it, but now you're all settled, I imagine, and ready to get back into it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Go give Hamster a follow. You and Naomi as well. You will not, be disappointed with this lovely duo. I have a wonderful time there. Actually, now I know it's Thursday, I'm going to be able to hang out. So that's even
my solo stuff's on Thursday. There will be collabs.
Collabs.
That will be when there are convenient.
Right, so they'll be promoted, I assume. So we'll all
they'll be promoted.
Feel free. I'd be happy to announce you and all your shenanigans in the Discord and on stream. I'm always willing to do that because you're wonderful people. That give me all the wonderful time. And hey, we're creating nostalgic moments right now, aren't we? Creating memories. So I mean, all the stuff we've done: Master Debaters, Parabnormal, Monty Python, the Blackadder.
Stars in your eyes.
There you go. Stars in your mouth. Stars in your mouth.
Stars in your mouth.
Gets cut for you. And there's plenty more to come. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to Soul TV. We'll play it out with Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark, and from us. We say good night, good night. Unless you're going to say one more thing. I love you too. I've just got to make him disappear. Oh, I am back. Oh, he didn't disappear. Hold on, 3, 2, 1, over there. There we go. If the right one don't get him, the left one. I've disappeared.
Oh no, it's okay. I was very, very happily rambling.
I only muted myself there. Sorry, mate.
I am a man who walks alone when I'm walking a dark road. Night are strolling through the park. When the light begins to fade, sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark. Fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always there. Fear of the dark. You. Fear of the dark. Have a phobia. Someone's always there. just act for more. You got no troubles on your mind. I know your mind is playing tricks. You said some son of me, I speaks. The dancing shadows from behind. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant feeling something's always near. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a thought that someone's always there. Fear of the dark.